Red means hot. Yes, red means you're live.
I just hit the gavel. Hey, if you need to, feel free to before we start the meeting, feel free to get coffee, feel free to get breakfast, whatever. And we appreciate everybody being here. And I'll get into more of that in a little bit. But I want to call to order this special meeting December 18th, 2025 at approximately 8:33. Let the record show that 4 commissioners are present, and a quorum has been established. If I could get a roll call.
Commissioner McElroy,
Here.
Commissioner Tonjes,
Here.
Commissioner Chinoweth. Here. And Chairman Adams.
Here. A quorum has been established, and with that, I want to have Anthony Lujan, who is he's an not next, NMDOT deputy. And if you would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, we would appreciate it.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You've all had a chance to review the agenda. Is there any additions, deletions, or any other comments? If not, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So move.
I got a motion from Commissioner Tonjes. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously. We'll go on to the approval of minutes, regular meeting of November 20th, 2025. You've had a chance to review them. Is there any changes? Is there any comments? If not, what is the pleasure of this commission?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion from Commissioner Chenoweth. Do I have a second? Second from Commissioner McElroy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously. Now we're gonna go into introductions. Do we have any elected officials here? Do we have a list or no? You can give it to Mo. And if you're wondering where Secretary Serna is today, he had some scheduled time off. And so he's not with us today, but he should be back in January, so Mo will be filling in for him. I don't have anybody signed in. Nobody signed in. Is there any elected officials here? No? Okay. Do you wanna,
Representing from the governor's office, Rebecca Lewis is here.
well, come on up and introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to be with you. I'm Rebecca Roos. I'm the Senior Infrastructure Advisor in the Office of the Governor. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it and give our regards to the governor. So with that, I'm gonna go into introductions. If you want to introduce your executive staff.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, we have John Newell, our General Counsel, Deputy Secretary Jessica Cooper, Tammy Trujillo. She keeps us all in line, so she's in charge of she always makes sure I don't say inappropriate jokes. So, and then we have from District 1, District Engineer Aaron Chavarria, District 2, Francisco Sanchez, District 3, Paul Brasher, District 4, Adam Romero, District 5, Rhonda Lopez, and District 6, Lisa Vega. That's all we have right now, and we have some of the other stuff that's going to be presenting to you later on.
Okay, and
Thank
with that, we'll go ahead and do a quick introduction of commissioners. You guys see us day in and day out, and we've been here for 7 years, so all of you already know me. But we'll go ahead and do a quick introduction. Commissioner McElroy, we'll start with you.
John McRae, Commissioner for District 1. District 1 is in the southwest part of the state, bordering Texas and Mexico and Arizona. Thank you.
Commissioner Chinoweth from this District 3. Been serving since 2020. Thank you.
Gary Tonjes, representing District 2, which is southeastern New Mexico.
And I'm Walter Adams, and I'm representing District 4. And before we go on, first of all, I want everybody here to know and to understand that this commission really, really appreciates the work of each and every one of you. All our people in the field, all the people that are out working. As I've said before, here at DOT, we're a big puzzle. And I've asked people in the past, which is the most important part of the puzzle? And there's not an answer to that, because if one piece is missing, the puzzle is incomplete. Everybody plays a very, very vital role here. And I've always said this, is that I would put up the employees of DOT against any other private sector or state government, because our guys and gals show up each and every day. They don't just show up, they show up to make a difference, and it's very much appreciated. And on behalf of this commission, we want to thank them. And you know that usually at all our meetings, on the regular meetings, we have all our employees here. And we make it a point, since this commission has been here, to bring them in and personally thank them. And we also want to give people who normally don't get a chance to come to these meetings to come in and feel part of what we do, because we sit up here and we talk a lot, we do a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, we're only as good as our employees, and they make us look very, very good, and it's very much appreciated. So I just want all of our employees to have a very merry, safe holiday season. And Kim, if it's all right with Mr. Brasher, if you could get together after the meeting with Commissioner Chenoweth, and if you would come up with a Christmas or holiday wish, and she can put it out maybe by Monday. Sure. And that way we can wish all our employees and tell them how much we appreciate them. You know that every organization, if you look at them, I'm talking Starbucks, I'm talking all the successful organizations. If you look at their success, it's because they listen to their employees. And it's you guys that are out there each and every day in the trenches. And it's up to us to listen and see how we can get you better resources, how we can do better with equipment. We can only do that if we're listening. And we can't just stand up here and say, well, why did you do this? That's not our job. Our job is to fight for resources. And I also want to thank the governor, because it's through her that she has continued to support the employees of DOT and employees throughout the state government, but particularly she has come in and she has been a fighter. We've gotten big pay raises and we've had some good things. And so I want to thank her, because she appreciates the work you do each and every day. And our legislature, who without them, we wouldn't have the money we have to fix roads. We wouldn't have the money to hire people. And so with that, I guess that's enough for me. But Christmas to me is a special time of year. I love it. It's my favorite. I had my Christmas tree up since Halloween, and my granddaughter wanted to pull it down. And I said, no. I said, go do your trick or treating. I'll get the tree up. So with that, so I'm going to follow up with something now. It's some news that I guess is not very good news, but we have a commissioner, Commissioner Tonjes, and I'm going to let him speak. And he has informed that at the end of the month, at the end of December, this will be his last meeting. And this commission can't thank him enough for all his contributions, for all his hard work, and for his knowledge and expertise that he's exhibited here. More importantly, what people don't understand, and a lot of people don't get this, a lot of people think that the commissioners here, that we get paid. Everybody tells me, oh, you're a triple, quadruple dipper. Well, you know, we're here not because we're getting paid. It's just like our employees here at DOT, they're not here for the money. And I've said that my whole career. But we've continued to do better, and we're gonna continue to get better. So we don't get paid, but we're here because we have a passion for what we do. And we wanna try to make a difference, and our role here is a role of support. And that's what we come in to do. So It's with sad news, Commissioner, that I'm going to let you speak, and then I'll follow up.
Mr. Chair, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate that. I have enjoyed very much serving on the commission. I have learned a lot and realized that I know this much out of a pile that much. But I tell you, from the very first day, I've appreciated so much the warm welcome that I've received from everyone and the support that you have given me as well. As I was looking at the schedule, I realized, not getting any younger, and had looked at the meetings scheduled for the year ahead, and it's like I've got conflicts, going to be traveling, and would miss about half of the meetings. Thought not really the right way to represent the District 2 of southeastern New Mexico. And so said, with what my wife and I want to do, now's the time for us to dedicate ourselves in that manner. But there are so many people who have made a difference to me. First and foremost, I want to thank Commissioner Chinawith. She's a longtime friend, I am proud to say, and I appreciate that she put my name forward for nomination consideration to join the commission. I have always valued her. She's a phenomenal commissioner, and great that she represents this district. A special thanks as well to Francisco Sanchez. I have loved working with him. He is a true pro, absolutely a class act, and represents so well, he and the members of his staff, the communities, the people throughout southeastern New Mexico. And I will miss my interactions with him. A thanks as well to Chairman Adams and the other members of the commission. They take their job so seriously. They want to make a big difference for New Mexico. They have, and no doubt will continue to do so. And finally, just to say, importantly and sincerely, thanks to the employees of NMDOT. I have been really impressed. It has been a pleasure going around the state and seeing the recognition given to people and learning about their stories and the work that they do day in, day out. I'm lucky I live down in Ruidoso, which, as you know, has suffered a great deal. And I got to watch some extraordinary work by NMDOT employees at all times of the day and night, trying to get out and make sure that our roads are safe, that the travelers are safe. But that story plays out throughout the state, and we've seen evidence of that, as we've traveled around and learned more about the other employees throughout the other districts in New Mexico. It has been an honor representing District 2, and I appreciate so much the opportunity and wish you all the very best. So this will be my last meeting, and so effective December 31, I'll no longer be with Commission.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. It's going to be a big loss to this commission, but again, we appreciate your efforts, we appreciate your time, and we appreciate your passion that you had while you were here. And up until the end of December, Francisco, you can continue to work with Commissioner Tanges starting in January. If we don't have anybody in place by then you can work with me. And if you need me, probably you don't need me, but if you do, I'm a phone call away, you know that. And so if you need anything, but again, Commissioner, thank you. And what I would like to do is when we have our next meeting coming in 2026 up in District 2, if we'll let you know, we'd like to have you show up so that we could have a plaque and show our appreciation on behalf of DOT. And like I said, we're going to miss you. And so with that, I'll let any other commissioners, if they have any words.
Thank you, Gary Tonjes, for saying yes in the first place, and for Leanne also agreeing to share you after retirement with this commission with the district, District 2. I know that Francisco probably will miss you as much as we will miss you as well. Thank you for all of your dedication to this state. I know that many people are employed in this state because of your efforts. So thank you for continuing that, giving back to your community, giving back to the state, even as you were looking forward to having a little bit more latitude with your time. So thank you for saying yes. Thank you for everything you've done while you've been here. And good luck in the future.
Thank you. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Horic Construction for the breakfast that they provided, the coffee, the breakfast. It is not only greatly appreciated, but thank you. So with that, we are gonna, is there anybody else that wants to come before the commission? Over here, we run a kind of, we're not so critical. We bring up people, that's why we're here. We're here to listen. And so if anybody wants to come up, feel free to come up. Like I remember what I always say, speak now or forever hold your peace. Some of you have heard that before. And you held your peace, and now, hey, I can't help you now. So with that, we're going to go ahead and go on to the secretary report. And Mo?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning.
Mo,
Yes.
since you're filling in on the secretary report, after you're done with that, why don't you just go ahead and jump into your report?
Okay.
And that'll cover both of those items.
Thank you. I will do that. My name is Mo Mobet. For those who don't know me, I'm the Deputy Secretary for DOT. The Secretary's report, I just got it and I'm sharing with you is, first of all the commissioners are invited to attend our paving conference in January 7th and 8th at the Albuquerque Marriott, the Pyramid. And if you like to attend, please get in touch with Tammy and she will register you for the conference. And also the legislature's session will start January 20th, and all the senior managers, including district engineers, we're gonna come together. We have a 2-day retreat so we can get ready for the session and solidify our strategy. And we also had a meeting with our partners at the Association of Contractors of New Mexico and also the testing labs in New Mexico that provide testing, hot mix design to all of our contractors. It was really true partnership meeting, and we discussed our asphalt mixes and the experience we have recently with a lot of our mixes are not lasting as long as they're supposed to. We are working on coming up with a solution. It was the first meeting, and we're going to continue pretty much every few weeks till we come up with a workable solution. And our construction division, Tisha Clark, is helping us with that, and we're trying to come up with a better mix design because we're getting complaints. We're getting phone calls almost, or emails pretty much every month or every week, really, to complain about so many potholes on I-40. So we're trying to come up with a better solution and upgrade our mixes.
And actually, if I can comment on that, I've gotten a couple of calls on I-40 up in our area. And what we've had is those roads initially, way back in the day, were roads that were out of concrete. And then they started covering it with asphalt. And I don't know if the base is not stable enough, but it seems like we're putting in the overlays, and then it doesn't take long. And I-40 has heavy traffic as far as the semis and stuff. But I think we need to look into that, and if what we're putting coincides with the concrete that's underneath. I mean, back in the day, they were doing a lot of concrete roads. Some people say, no, they weren't, and You remember, John, there has been a lot of concrete roads.
Yeah, I mean, when I first came to the district there in District 4, I think I can pretty much say most of I-40 was white.
Yeah,
It was concrete pavement. And some of it's been reconstructed through GRIP between Santa Rosa and Tucumcari. But I know there's a lot of sections in there that don't have, that the concrete's still there. I mean, from Cuervo to Santa Rosa, that's part of the problem. The other part of the problem in that area of the state is red clay. There's red clay from Santa Rosa all the way to the state line. So that's, we don't have very good soils over there. We've got the concrete in a lot of places where they were cracked and seeded, but I think we're getting a lot of rocking under there if the concrete's still there. So that's causing some of the problems. And the other problem that we have in that area is we don't have very good pits. We don't have real strong pits in that area. And contractors go in there and they develop some pits and things like that, but we've got mostly sand and gravel there, but it's not big cobble sand and gravel that you break down and crush. I think we struggle with the mixed designs in there. So I think that's the other part of the problem. I think our mixes there, and it's no fault of the contractor or any place or anybody else, but we don't have good pits, and I think it makes for marginal mixed designs for that stretch of road. And then we've got weather. You get snow down in that area of I-40, and then you get a lot of hot weather. I mean, it rivals the heat that's down in Cruces in that area of the state. A lot of people don't understand that, but it's, when you have 105-degree temperature in Las Cruces, you could very easily have 100-degree plus in the Tucumcari, Santa Rosa area, and that stays for a long time. So I think there's just a lot of issues out there and I've been over part of I-40 in the last year or so, but not all of it. But and I think that's part of the problem. Those are part of the problems. Just a mixture of things.
Along those lines, and Dave Quintana, you're here, and I'm thinking that as we talk strategy and how to attack those roads, that one thing might be is that we come in with the geologists and we do some coring along the road to see what the base looks like and do random testings, because I think that's our biggest problem is the base. And it's not gonna do any good to continue to put overlay over overlay if the base isn't holding it. So as a suggestion, and I don't know if that's a good thing, is that maybe we get the geologists out there and we do random coring and find out how far deep is good soil, if there is good soil.
No, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, you're absolutely right, and I was thinking the same thing. I mean, concrete is probably our solution, and as you all know, I mean, the upfront costs are significant compared to asphalt, and that's always been the problem in the past. But I think we can overcome that now with the money we generate as a state, and that'd be the solution, really. I mean, you go to Texas and it's all concrete. So, to your point.
Okay, I appreciate that. Mo, if you want to continue.
Sure. Thank you. And also, we had a meeting last week with the LFC, and our agency did present our budget. And on the bottom of the report, that I gave you a copy of it. On the bottom of the report, it shows the New Mexico DOT requested $487 million for fiscal year 27, and a special appropriation and also capital outlay request. And if you look at the itemized on that list is construction and maintenance, $420 million, which is for right-of-way acquisition, planning, design, construction, and all the stuff you use for any roadway design. Next one is the rural service, air service, $25 million. For roadway beautification, we requested $12 million. For the equipment and vehicles to replace essential agency fleet and heavy equipment needs statewide, $10 million. And then for EV charging structure, which expands, agencies work to build out New Mexico EV charging infrastructure, including support for fleet conversion across the state agency, another $10 million. And then finally, for the Target Zero implementation, we requested $10 million to conduct and perform safety audit and site assessment of public roads and addressing the state's national ranking in crash and pedestrian facilities. And you all, commissioners, you all get the texting from every district, from the PIO when there is a crash. And recently, personally, I've been paying a lot more attention to it because a lot of crashes are due to the commercial vehicles. And I think we are victim of our own laws because of the CDL law. You cannot drive so many hours before you rest. So they're going to put as many miles as they can on those few hours they have to drive between rest. So if you look at all the reports, tells you cause of accidents was speeding. So we have a lot of inexperienced commercial drivers that they haul in and at high speed, and we're having a lot of crashes. So
Let me ask you a question. I went over this, and it's a good plan. The only question I had was Target Zero. And I know that was implemented, I think, 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And from what I remember, and you can check into it, and I'll ask the secretary in the next meeting. Target Zero, they're asking $10 million, but the money that we request through traffic safety covers all this as far as crashes and all that. That's
Yes.
originally covered in there, so I don't know what the 10 million would be extra on this Target Zero. So you don't have to give me an answer now. We
Okay.
can talk about it at the next meeting.
sure.
But I'm pretty sure that the original money that goes into traffic safety covers traffic data and crashes and all that stuff. So, thank you.
Thank you. And next, I'll cover my area that we're talking about the change orders. In your package, you see the list of 4 change orders for this month, which is only 1 in District 4 and 3 of them are District 5. I mean, 1 in District 5 and 2 in District 6, I'm sorry. And if you need any explanation of the change orders, the district engineer is here to explain what the detail of change orders are. And I appreciate Commissioner Tonjes talk about our people working hard, and you might hear a lot of complaints about some of our roads, but really our people are out there with a limited budget. That's what we do. We take care of our roads, we take care of our customers, and our district engineers are here next to make the presentation and talk about their version of what they do out there. And speaking of version, remind me of the little girl who asked her mom, how did we get here? So she explained Adam and Eve and how we got it. So later on, she saw her dad in the garage. She went and asked her dad, how did we get here? And he explained the theory of the Big Bang and evolution. Later on, Mom saw her in the yard, all puzzled up. She said, honey, what's wrong? He said, well, Mom, I'm confused. Dad says we come from monkeys, and you say we come from Adam and Eve. She said, well, he's right. He's explaining his side of family. I'm telling you mine. So,
Mo, with that joke, you just blew your Christmas bonus.
So, well, that means you're siding with evolution, okay?
No, thank you for that.
So I wanted to tell you that our district engineers really are intimate with their districts. They know what's going on. And they all have reports to give you all and show you what's going on in the district. So with that, with District 1, Aaron Chavarria.
Hold on. Is there any other questions for Mo before we bring up the districts? If not, then thank you, Mo. Go ahead and come up, Adam. In your report, if you can, we've been talking in our last, I think, 4 meetings about vacancies, and then we got the okay to start hiring again. So since we've had those conversations and the money supposedly has freed up, if you could just let us know, since I think, Jessica, we were on 4 to 5 months where we were like just sort of holding down, right? And so we I think it was in, I don't remember, I think it was in the October meeting where we decided we're gonna get 100,000 per district, and then we sort of even went a little bit more, so we were gonna start hiring again, correct?
Yeah, Chair, the money wasn't allocated. Thank you. The money wasn't allocated exactly like that. It wasn't 100,000 per district, but each district did receive a certain amount of money
Yeah,
to
so
work with,
it changed,
or
but-
knew what budget they had
But
to
the
work
good
with.
thing is that we're hiring again. Or
Absolutely.
things are in the queue. And so I'm just gonna do a follow-up to that because I just wanna know, so since, I just wanna know how many people you hired and since we've sort of, when did we free up the money, Jessica, would you say, in what month?
I think we probably started working closely with the districts in November.
Okay, so from November to see how many employees you've hired. This is something that we need to stay on top of, because if we need to go back to the legislature or wherever, we need to keep hammering them, because the one thing we don't wanna do, and I've made this clear in other meetings, we don't want it to affect overload on our part. There's a lot of people that are pulling 2, 3, doing the job of 2 or 3 people. Secondly, it's not only for our people, but the contractors. And, you know, we're gonna try to get money to do projects, but if there's no projects and there's no work, well, then contractors gotta send their employees home too. So that's why this bill is big in many ways, is that number one, it tackles vacancies, but the biggest thing, it covers road costs and projects. Because I think right now, if we don't get a shot in the arm, we're living on past money. So there's projects that are ongoing right now. But once you see them working, but once that money's already been allocated. But once that money runs out, there's nothing new coming in. Is that pretty much correct? So if you remember, just give us a little, and you can give us your update.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, we do have 296 full-time positions in District 1. We did get approval to fill nine of the vacancies that we have. We are currently just a little over 9% vacancy rate. So as a district, we're doing pretty good. Out of those 9 that we got approval for, it's a combination of promotions and a few new hires. But I believe we've gotten 3 already on board, and we're in the process of getting the others on board.
And that's progress, because I think before it changed back to the other one, we were talking about the 100,000 at that meeting. We were talking about 2 to 3 thing, and you're saying you feel 9, that's great. So.
Yeah, we're in the process of, we did get approval for 9. We've filled about 3 right now, so we're doing pretty good. Our FY26 budget, it's 51.1 million. We do have 15 active projects, a little over 300 million. We have, 12 maintenance patrols, 4 construction crews. We have 3 international border crossings, and we do have 2 MPOs in District 1. Back in November, we did have a workplace incident. Our Deming crew was on I-10 doing some potholes. We did have a pickup truck hit their attenuator. There was no injuries. It was all property damage. Everybody was good. So, and that was on November 23rd.
And just to hit on that real quick, that's why we're continuing to push speed cameras in the work zones, and hopefully it'll go through in the legislature this year, because in District 4, we had 2 people that were hit. A car crossed over into the work zone and hit 2 employees. And every time that there's construction projects, we have people that are, if you're not going, if it says to slow to 55, you got people on your tail, and you got the ones that are going 90, 95 miles an hour. So anything we can do to save a life or prevent any injuries is great. So.
I totally agree with you, Chairman. We're also in the process of purchasing 6 new attenuators, just as additional devices for our district. We did have 72 total permit requests this month, the month of November. We processed 15 of those. We don't have any new developments coming up. Our equipment, we have 498 pieces of equipment. We have 489 that are operational right now. 9 of them are in the shop. And there's a list of, we got 3 dump trucks, a transport, a tractor, our bucket truck, and 2 pickup trucks, and then our attenuator that got hit. It's on that list. As far as maintenance, this is what we did, quantity and cost for the month of November. Our 2 biggest ones is our blade patching, 180,000, and then our striping, 131,000 for our district. Contract maintenance, we did complete our New Mexico 549 FDR project, approximately 7 miles. We continue with our litter pickup. We just got a new contract for that, so they're just starting that off month of November. And then we started our New Mexico 26 FDR project. That's right there from Deming, going east towards Hatch. Total, our contract amount, contract maintenance, about $15.5 million. Construction updates. These are our active projects. We have 5 ongoing projects. We have two projects that are going to start at the beginning of the year. All the other projects are substantially complete, so we're in the process of closing those projects out. I'll just highlight our US 180 project. We did a ribbon cutting, and Rebecca was there this November 19th. But that one is complete. We're working on closing it out, but it is 6 months ahead of schedule. So that was pretty cool for our district. And here's the rest of the list, totaling $301 million for our District 1 projects, construction projects. As far as accomplishments, Silver City Patrol, we did receive our Ben Lopez Memorial Best Patrol Award for this year. And we also got 3 best practices here in District 1. And then local partnerships and coordination. We did meet as a district with the Socorro County. We discussed TPF and LGRF funding opportunities and guidelines for them. Hopefully this coming year they'll be able to put in more applications for those funding. In Las Cruces, Tortugas Arroyo. Tortugas Arroyo runs through basically through NMSU and into the village of Tortugas. So the Office of Emergency Management, in coordination with the other local entities, did an exercise just in case that arroyo was to flood. So we participated in that. And then our Lordsburg Playa dust mitigation interagency meetings. We did have one in the month of November. State Land Office, BLM, we had a rancher out there, consultants, just trying to, we continue to work on that, Lordsburg Playa, and try to mitigate the dust. That concludes my presentation, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, so I'll stand for any questions.
I just want to say that our last commission meeting was up at Sunland Park, and I really appreciated the tour. I thought it was, we went up on Wednesday, we got a tour of the border, we got a tour of all the industry, the industrial park and all the businesses that were going up, and that was fantastic. So, other than that, I have no questions. Fellow commissioners, if you have any questions?
Not really a question, but you might want to just kind of highlight, talk a little bit about the emergency project there in Lordsburg, the work that Hassie's doing on the project there.
Yes, so earlier this year, we did have a commercial vehicle hauling an excavator, and they did hit our overpass bridge in Lordsburg, exit 24. It took out 3 of the 5 girders. We finally got that work going. We got the girders up. They're doing the bridge deck, all the rebar. We initially planned on concrete this week, but our supplier can't provide concrete because of the holidays and they got other commitments. So we're gonna place the concrete deck on January 6th.
Any other questions, any other comments?
One other thing I'd like Aaron to kind of touch on, just to give information to the commission and maybe some other people. I noticed it this morning, driving in the dark coming up here. I noticed the Doña Ana interchange was lit a little bit better now. You can kind of say what's been going on there, just for information purposes more than anything else.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner McElroy. Doña Ana interchange, our lighting for that interchange, it's been in and out the last couple of months. The reason being is our electrical wire's been stolen. We've replaced it twice already. That's not just in Doña Ana. We've had that same instance in Deming and other parts, but that one, it seems like as soon as we get it going, they come back and take our copper wire. So we'll be looking to see what other devices we can install. Maybe we'll get with Brad Julian and see if there's a theft resistant standard out there, maybe, but we got to figure something out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Francisco, come on down. Before Francisco starts, I have a question for anybody that can answer this. I had a request, and I had forgotten about it, I picked it up. I had a request from a group in Las Vegas that are really involved with the Route 66, and I think with this, I was at a groundbreaking, and this group approached me and said that 2026 is supposed to be Route 66, the whole deal. So what they were requesting is they've identified an area that was vital, and they wanted to know what they needed to do to get a marker with some history on it, like a New Mexico marker.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, all the districts have been working with our main office to come up with they're putting up signs all over the US 66, Old 66, and I don't know exact locations of them, but I don't know if, Andrew, you have the locations or?
Unfortunately, I don't have the locations. I know that Angelica has been the one coordinating them, and she does have a list that's going around, but I don't have those with me at this point in time. But I do know that they're being installed
Christine
currently.
might have them. Christine, do you have the exact locations or?
Yeah, we don't need it
Come
today,
on.
but what we'll do, Adam, is I'll get a hold of these individuals, and we'll schedule a meeting, and they can come in and give us their request, and then you can run and see what's allowed.
Historic markers, the one.
Yeah, they want an historic marker because they said it was a crucial part. So we'll get more information, and that way you know exactly what's going on. And then we can go through the channels and see what we need to do. So, thank you. Thank you, Mo. Francisco?
Chairman, Commissioners, District 2, of course, I'm going to go ahead and skip through kind of the overview. We've discussed this in the past, how big District 2 is and the challenges we face and, how busy we are down there. So I'm going to get straight to kind of the monthly report and some of our accomplishments. So, but before we get into this slide, I just want to update you on the hiring at District 2. Just this week, 5 of our priorities were processed, and we put out offer letters. So we're very thankful for that. Thank Deputy Secretary Cooper, because the priorities, if we can at least get those hires, we know we can keep providing service at a high level.
Good, thank you.
So this slide, of course, is our permitting. So when we started this in October, we had a significant number of permits on that month in October. and we had the total request versus total process. In October, we had about a 65 rate of being processed within that month. Last month, it was over 95. As you can see here, we had 80 permits come in and we processed 77. So we're over 95% again this month. So staff is doing a really good job on the permitting side. This is our District 2 maintenance report. We're transitioning to our winter operations. Of course, we're lucky in District 2, we have a little longer construction season. So really our focus was trying to close the loop and close some of our operations. So we really focus on blade patching. This will probably be the last month we'll be out there. As you can see, we accomplished almost over 2,400 cubic yards at 228,000. We focus on our mowing. Of course, we'll be shutting that down this month too. But as you can see, our accomplishment, 25 pass miles at 212,000. Of course, our chip sealing last month was our last completion, and our staff is now transitioned to home of records and we'll be at the patrols. But as we transition to winter, we really focus on guardrails, making sure those are all in place, where people are driving in these weather conditions. So as you see, we had a really productive month in guardrail, 683 linear feet at 54,000. Contract maintenance, we're a little behind schedule on contract maintenance. District 2, our goal is always to try to get 15% of our contract maintenance or legislative budget spent. We haven't met that goal this year. So on this list, most of these projects will be completed in the spring, but we did complete that US 285, mile marker 183 to 199. That was hauled in place by Industrial, just outside of Vaughn. But we also teamed up and partnered with our internal chip seal crew to cap that project. So they put $500,000 work into that for a $2.5 million project, doing 40 lane miles, which was really great for that area, and we needed it. So that's kind of what we are in our contract maintenance overview. Equipment, we're still working on getting some critical pieces back in operation. We have a lot of construction projects that are winding down. As you can see, percent time, percent money. You'll be seeing significant amount of completions this end of the year and start of the year for District 2. So a lot of 100% up there. So. Oh, wrong button there. Okay. Highlight some of our accomplishments. One of the major goals I had when I took over district engineer was improvement in closing out projects. And, I've played a very small part in putting that plan into place. Really want to commend, our construction engineer, Michael Smelker, our PM2, Deanna Gillian, and all our PMs on what they've done to help close out projects faster at District 2. So we're very proud of this accomplishment that we had this month, a new District 2 record. We had a project go from substantial completion to physical completion in 22 days. Project was submitted to CCRB November 20th within 43 days. So we're very proud of that staff and breaking our previous goal that we had. It's always great to deliver a major project to the communities that have been asking for improvements. This one, US 285, New Mexico 31, at one time was the most congested, most dangerous intersection in District 2. We completed that, fired on the signals, and I'll have a picture in the next slide, close to $20 million or $19 million in improvements. And I have a great picture there after this slide. Of course, at District 2, like all districts, we want to promote DOT. We want to encourage the next generation to come to work for us. So we were very active this month in going out to the schools. We had staff go out to Estancia, Capitan High School, which is in Roswell, East Grand Plains in Roswell, and Mesa Middle School in Roswell. The Mesa was really a great career day because that focused with their STEM students. So really opened their eyes to engineering, our construction world here at DOT. So that's just a look of that US 285, New Mexico 31 project that we just fired up the signals. It's working great. New realignment of the highway. We got all the functional lanes in there, and it's working out really great. We watch the traffic through there. 50% of the traffic that's going through there is heavy commercial, and it's functioning at a high level. I'm very proud to deliver this to Eddy County and those communities. A couple of important lettings we had this month. We had a major let on New Mexico 128, $55 million. It's a large rebuild of 128 and some major intersections that are pretty dangerous out there. So we'll be seeing that come out pretty soon, or at least construction in the spring. We did that, a project in Ruidoso, addressing all the sidewalks that were damaged during the floods, bringing in some new lighting and closing a gap that was there in Ruidoso down. So that was let this month for $4.4 million. We also had a kickoff meeting with the city of Carlsbad with our consultant on 62-180. This is in Carlsbad. Chapman Boyd, it's probably now the most dangerous intersection, District 2, and our most congested one is what we call the Y in Carlsbad, US 285 at 62-180. So we had a kickoff there, get our studies done, and identify improvements that we need to do in our next step. Of course, I want to commend our local governments for closing out a few of our LGR projects and capital outlay. The entities in District 2 do an amazing job of getting money and spending it. So I always want to commend them, and that's why I highlight it here as an accomplishment. So Chairman, Commissioners, stand for questions.
Any questions from fellow commissioners?
I just would like to comment on the fact that you are engaging not only high schoolers, but middle schoolers too, planting those seeds. I think is fantastic because we need both engineers and maintenance folks, technicians. So planting those seeds as to what might be available to our future workforce is phenomenal. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you. I'd like to say a special thank you to Commissioner Tonjes, even though he says, don't call me Commissioner, call me Gary. So that was one of the first conversations we had. But Commissioner Tonjes, it's been a pleasure. You know, I've had an opportunity to work with 2 other commissioners, and we've always had a great professional relationship. I've always had a great professional relationship with those commissioners, but this is the first time I've had a great professional but personal relationship. And it is always a pleasure giving you a call, or if you called me. It was really great working with you, and I wish you the best. Thank you.
Cisco, before you leave, the lettings in November, do you have preliminary awards on those already?
We do.
Who are the contractors?
So for the 21-4333, that was constructors. They were awarded the job. They received their notice to proceed. And the job in Ruidoso, the 210-4940, was Hassie.
Thank you, Francisco.
You're welcome.
Isaac, and just to follow up on Commissioner Chenoweth, we've had a shortage of engineers here, and every time that there's an opening and for an engineer, there's not too many people applying because we don't have many people. And so we got to do whatever we can to continue to recruit and retain our engineers. And I know that the secretary he has picked up the pay scale as a motivation to retain and also to recruit. And so we have to continue to look at that. That's excellent that you're going into the schools. Generations of family, we call it the NMDOT family, you know, I always say that. But even like me, because I've been here almost, next year it'll be 50 years I've been with DOT. And I have kids now that are saying, hey, my grandpa worked with you. He said to tell you how my great-great-grandpa worked. So that's not a good feeling, but it's good to have them. So that's good that they continue to choose DOT as a place to work. So we'll continue to do what we do with our recruitment and retention. So thank you, Isaac.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Chenoweth. Commissioners, thank you for this opportunity. Deputy Secretary, give a presentation for District 3 on behalf of Mr. Brasher for the month of November. I do want to jump in before I get into...
Before you start, Isaac,
go ahead.
we want to recognize our district engineer for 3, Mr. Brasher. It's good to see you back. We saw you up in Sunland, and every time I see you, you're looking better and better each day. You're almost ready to go a couple of rounds with me, so... So it's good to have you back. It's a good feeling, and thank you. And thank you for staying with us and being with us.
As you could tell, he hasn't missed a beat. So I'll do the quick presentation by the numbers. Two numbers I want to kind of highlight here. Our overall budget for construction, $366 million. We were able to get a project done, so that's a change from last month. And then talking about our vacancy rate, we're at 17.8% for the district. We were able to fill some roles this over in November. We were able to get our HR manager filled. That was a huge position, and ever since we got that position in and others, we've been trying to get the interviews process so we can start onboarding those positions right away. Our first slide here, I do want to report that our workplace incidents was 0 for the month of November. Moving on to our permits, we had 47 for November. It was a decrease from 72 from the month before. We were trying to get through them. The big ones are always roadway work and special events. Those are kind of ones that we get and we get through right away. As far as equipment, we're reporting 32 pieces of non-operational. I do not have a list of those equipment, but we are good to go for snow season. We are prepared for that, so we'll be ready for that. Looking at our maintenance, our numbers have fluctuated over the last couple of months, September, October. Those months were really big on litter for those months and mowing, but they do fluctuate. This month, it's been guardrail installation, replacement, getting to those areas, but it does change based on needs. So each month it's a little different. So that's our goal, is really focusing on those needs per month. Looking at contract maintenance, we were able to get a couple projects done. New Mexico 263, which is a El Cerro loop, in Los Lunas. It's a 5-mile loop. We were able to get that done and completed. I-25 frontage, that's the MLK, from Lomas to MLK. We were able to get southbound, northbound done. I believe the only thing we have left is some long line of stripe. We're just waiting for some good weather, and we'll have that buttoned up. New Mexico 333, this portion, it covers the intersection of 217, which is an area that we're looking at for safety. As soon as we can get money, or we have money, but as soon as we can get temperatures and an available contractor, we'll be able to get in there. So we're looking, that's on our goal and our to-do list to get done. Construction project update. Happy to announce that New Mexico 14, we're at substantial completion. It's a roundabout. This is the project that we were targeting for this afternoon to do the ribbon cutting. Due to just some of the weather and the muddy conditions up in the mountain, up in the crest, it's not really safe, and it's not really a good time to have a ribbon cutting yet. We'll postpone that until probably spring. We have some vegetation.
The secretary had called me on that, and to see if we could postpone it, and I'm leaving it up to his discretion. So whenever he gets back, if you guys get with him and you guys figure out, when it's safe and the weather's nice and the ground's good, then we could go ahead and...
Yes. Unfortunately, we had done some seeding, and so we didn't want to disturb some of the seeding. And then with the muddy conditions, it wasn't favorable. Our big project that we have, our Comanche Montgomery project, ongoing. We just hit the 50% marks for money and time, which means that we're on pace to finish
and on budget.
Yes, sir. We're still shooting for April Fool's Day of 2027 to be complete, at substantial completion. We're looking to hit that mark. A3000, 1001, A30, 1001. It's a New Mexico 500. That is the Rio Bravo project. That was let this spring. Unfortunately, we had to go to suspension. We're going to go to suspension all the way to July of 2026. We had a few issues with that, getting some permits. One was from the Corps of Engineers that came in kind of late, and we had some utility relocations that kind of got in our way. So we had to move this out as far as it's being suspended at this point, but the contractor's ready to go once we lift suspension on that one.
I just want to, Anthony with ORAC, we're on time and on budget with that big project, so that's commendable. They're on I-25, so I know there's a lot of work and.
A lot of work, yes,
and
sir.
People need to realize that there's a lot of delays, and I know people get frustrated sometimes because they have to get to work and they're running late and they get into those traffic jams, but with a little bit of patience, it all pays off at the end. So we want to thank the public because I think they have been pretty patient and they have been observing the signs. But at the end, they're going to get a product that's going to be safer and it's going to improve the community. So we appreciate that. But we always have to give a shout out to our customers because they endure it for however long it takes.
Yes.
And so whoever's listening, I want to thank them for working with us, being patient with us, and every once in a while, if you want to yell at us, give us a thumbs up with them, then, that's good.
We get it. Yep. Oh, very much so. We've heard nothing but great comments from the public, and we do thank them for their patience on this project. Thanks to Horrocks for the breakfast this morning. Thank you. Appreciate that. And just want to, my next slide, getting on to the district, some of the accomplishments, like I mentioned, the New Mexico 14 roundabout project, getting to substantial completion. It took a while. We had a lot of challenges on that one, but able to get to the point where substantial completion. The Montgomery Comanche project, the Comanche substructures are completed. We are actually prepping for the deck. We had the girders placed, and we are preparing for a deck pour tonight, 6 p.m. Southbound. Looks about almost close to 300 yards. We'll be pouring tonight. Big collaboration, I-40 with Laguna Pueblo, putting up over 1,000 feet of new fence. One of our collaborations this year went really well. Local partnerships and coordination ongoing. It does change because we do have bi-monthly meetings with different entities. This month, really big with Bernalillo County, the Pueblo of Sandia, Pueblo of San Felipe, the town of Bernalillo. Our courtesy patrol, shout out to them. They do a lot. In just November, they had 418 total calls that they responded to. In fact, it was actually a drop from, I believe, 570 from the month before, which is a lot of calls that our courtesy patrol get to on a monthly basis, or daily basis rather. With that, I stand for questions.
Any questions for fellow commissioners? I know Commissioner Chenos is gonna praise this history. So
You're absolutely
you got
right.
it.
No, I just really want to commend Mr. Chavez and Mr. Brasher and our deputy, I'm not going to get his name right, Gregory Clark, Nancy Perea, who's here, as well as Margaret, because I really appreciate the updates, the amount of work that goes into briefing me and making certain that I understand what's happening in my district and representing the well-being of our traveling public and our citizens here. I just can't commend my district enough, and I'm glad that you all are here to see the tremendous work that's happening on I-25. And yes, it takes a little bit of patience to get through, but for our folks that might be listening online, it's really important for everyone to observe those speeds, those posted speeds, so that not only do our workers get home safely, but also you get home safely. It's tremendous to just be able to get through there without incident if we all keep at the speed limit. But thank you for all the work that you're doing, and I appreciate the update.
You're welcome. Thank you.
How long are they planning? How long is that 300 yards gonna take? Are they estimating for the pour? 6 hours?
Somewhere in there, yes.
I remember those days. I used to be out on those pours making cylinders and stuff, so brings back a lot of memories. Like
If you
I still had hair back then.
If you want to, we are always looking for volunteers. So if you want to come on out tonight and observe,
I love that
Yep.
volunteer word.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Isaac, and kudos to your district. Come on up, Adam. Adam, I'm gonna give you some kudos too, because the commissioner here, you know.
Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for this opportunity. As you all know, I'm Adam Romero. I'm the District 4 engineer. So let me see if I get this to work. Button. Oops, wrong one. Okay, so our vacancy rate currently is 12.38%. We have 277 employees. So on your question on the vacancies, Chairman, currently we're working on 9 transactions. They're in the works for promotions or for new hires. None of them have been completed at this time, but I think they're getting close. We do not have any new employees, boots on the ground at this time, but I know our HR section is working really hard with Santa Fe to get those completed. So our budget, 44 million for fiscal year 26. Everything else, we're in the northeast part of the state. I think everyone's familiar with District 4. So for November, we had 0 work zone incidents. As far as traffic permits, we completed 6 for roadway work. We had 7 special events. Telecommunications, 0. We had 1 access permit and 1 utility. November and December, they're sort of slow months, especially with winter. So we don't get a lot of like access and utility permits. Once spring comes along, we get a lot more. As far as equipment, we're in pretty good shape right now. We do have 19 pieces of major equipment that are down. We're working on getting, but that's not bad compared to the amount of major. We have 400 pieces of major equipment. We did have a snowstorm in December, and we were pretty lucky. We didn't have any major breakdowns.
So as far, and I'm gonna start asking this question, I didn't really ask it with the other 3 districts. But equipment-wise, if we were to, because the north gets hit harder with snow, that's not to say that the other ones don't, but when we get it, and District 5 has areas that get slammed up there in Tres Piedras and other places. We have our areas. So if we were to get into a major snowstorm right now, our trucks are pretty much all ready to roll.
They're ready to go right now.
Okay.
As the winter goes on, if it's a bad winter and you have a lot of storms,
there's going to be breakdowns.
You'll get breakdowns.
Yeah, but as far as right now,
we're good to go. We've had 2 storms. We had a small one in November, and we had a bigger storm in December. We had 8 to 10 inches. I think Las Vegas had about 8 inches. That was a warm storm, so it melted pretty quickly.
And the other comment I wanted to make on that is the weather's very unpredictable, but lately we've been getting warmer weather.
Yes.
If that warmer weather continue to hold up, that's going to help our operational budget too.
Yes.
Because we're not using all the salt and cinder. Usually by this time, and correct me if I'm wrong, we were already ordering a second round of salt and cinders and.
You are correct.
And as of right now, we're still working on our first batch. So hopefully that'll help our budget for the future.
Yes, Chairman, and it'll also help, the warm weather and the lack of moisture. I know we need moisture in the mountains and all, but if we don't get moisture during the winter, it really helps our roads stay together because we don't have that freeze-thaw cycle that just destroys our roads. If we were getting a lot of snow right now on I-40, I always know when we have some moisture on I-40 because the next day the phone calls start. Now we've been dry, we've been able to patch it. We take care of the worst areas. We've taken pretty good care of it. It's been dry, so they'll hold up. But once we get a storm and I'm sure you get the same phone calls. There's potholes everywhere. It does happen when we get the moisture. But that's the only thing good about a dry winter is it helps our roads stay together. We don't see as many potholes. And it saves on not only winter material, it also we can save on patching material because we don't have to patch as much. So there is a benefit to dry weather during the wintertime. So as far as our maintenance operations for November, the big one was blade patching. A lot of that was I-40. Pothole patching, we had 54,000. Like I said, blade patching, over 200,000. We're still finishing up mowing. We got quite a bit of pass miles. I think we're getting close to completing the whole district. But we still have good weather, and there's areas we're still finishing up on mowing. What else do we have there? We did some guardrail repairs. Snow removal, that was a small storm. We did 1,200 pass miles for $24,000. So we're
I
staying.
noticed too that they were fixing a cable barrier.
Yes.
We've, in our district, especially there in that area between Las Vegas and Santa Fe,
Yes.
our guardrail and our barrier has been taking a beating.
Yes. It seems like we fix it and the next day they'll hit it. It's just like a magnet. But yeah, actually, I'm proud of my maintenance guys. They did a lot of work in November, being that November, we have a couple of holidays. We have a couple of days for Thanksgiving, and then we have Veterans Day. So we have a lot of people taking off November and December. They got to burn time. But they still got a lot accomplished in that month. Yes, the weather's nice enough that right now we're still in the 60s. So here's a breakdown of our contract maintenance for this last year. We've completed most of our projects. We had a project on in the southern part of the district, New Mexico 231, a millings overlay. We completed that one. On a Nova chip on 104. We completed that one. We have a chip seal project that we're going to do now in the spring for $1 million on New Mexico 402. And we completed a mill and inlay on I-40 with Mountain States. We also have another project scheduled for Romesa, New Mexico 34, a recycled millings overlay. It'll be in the spring or summer of this next year. We did a Cutler hot in situ scarification on US 84 south of Santa Rosa. And New Mexico 63, we did we're going to do a hot in place recycle with Dustral spring, summer of 2026. And let's see, we did a Nova chip, the Nova chip on New Mexico 434, and we did one on I-25 also that we completed both of them this last year. As far as our construction program, we're in pretty good shape with our projects. We're suspended on most of them, or they're substantially complete. We have a project on New Mexico 39. It's substantially complete. That was for $13.5 million. We have a project that's suspended right now. It hasn't started on New Mexico 104. We have a bridge that's being repaired. On I-25, the Raton Pass, we're on partial suspension right now. That project's real close to getting completed. We'll complete it in the spring when we could cover it up with OGFC. Let's see, US 64, Angel Fire, it's on winter suspension right now, but it's really close to being completed also. That's a $28 million project. Cuervo, on I-40, we have a substantially complete project with Mountain States, $11.5 million. On New Mexico 434, this is Coyote Creek. This is the third phase. We're up there in Black Lake. We have a project. The weather's been nice, so they're still getting a little bit of work done at this time. It hasn't, the weather, the snowstorm we had really didn't impact it, so they're getting a little bit of work. So that's one of our projects that's ongoing at this time. And 104 is substantially complete. We have a $9 million project with Albuquerque asphalt. And then on New Mexico 63, we have a bridge up in the canyon, Pecos Canyon, that's suspended at this time. Some of the achievements and highlights for the month of November, we had David Salas was our employee of the month. David Nava, who is the Tucumcari Patrol Supervisor, he was also, I think I should have said Supervisor of the month. And our construction audit was recognized as the team of the month. We held our Thanksgiving luncheon last month there at the district, and we had a lot of our employees attended. We also attended a leadership and safety community of practice. And Chairman, we were able to install the pedestrian flashing signs on New Mexico 65 there at Hot Springs. We have one on each side. Yes. Yes. So good. Right now it's wintertime, so it's a little dark there. So if the flashing lights aren't working at times, it's because we just don't have the sunlight, but so far they're holding up, but we're a little worried that it's a little dark in that little area, so.
That area that Adam's talking about is right there by United World College. There's the natural hot baths there, the springs, and so people tend to park on both sides of the shoulder. And so there's not a whole lot of space in there, and there's people crossing the road. So we've gone and installed some flashers to let people know there's people crossing. The other thing is in the winter when it snows, the sun doesn't come over that hill, and it's ice there for forever. So it's just a safety precaution to get people to slow down and have them recognize that there is people crossing the road and kids and everything. So thank you for that. And those are the things that we're always looking to do.
Yes, Chairman, and we also put the no camping signs. They put more than I expected, but they put quite a few no camping signs in the area. But I think the people will get the message. So local partnerships, our maintenance staff presented at Tony Serna Elementary and at Valley Elementary Middle School. We went out and we showcased some of our equipment to the students. Like we were saying earlier, we're trying to start them at a young age. They really like our loaders or our blades, and they're amazed at the size of the tires, and they like to get by the buckets and take pictures, and it's really neat to interact with these kids. Last month we attended an I-40 closure emergency management workshop. We had our big winter maintenance meeting in Las Vegas with the entities. We held our staff attended a NERPO meeting in Angel Fire. We completed the final walkthrough on the Bar Y project for Guadalupe County. It was some drainage improvements, and they did some paving and some concrete work. Everything looked good. We continued to assist Mora County. Mora County is like a revolving door with their county manager and their staff. They always have, every couple of months, it's constantly changing. So we're still providing assistance to them. And we provided some assistance to the city of Tucumcari with some TPF project issues. Our staff also attended a city council meeting to answer questions regarding a proposed MOA between the city of Las Vegas, New Mexico Highlands University, and Duna Community College. These entities, they're sort of getting together, and they want to get some projects together, maybe combine funding, and that way they could get bigger projects, so they want to work together. With that completes my portion. If anyone has questions.
Any questions?
Just one question from me, Adam, on that Raton Pass project.
Yes.
The hot mix is complete?
Yes.
The one thing that has to be done is the OGFC?
Chairman, Commissioner McElroy, that is correct.
Okay.
All the complaints have stopped before we had hot mix on there, where there's a lot of potholes and people were calling all the time. But
With that, I just want to say thank you. And, I always tell our district and all our employees throughout the state, thanks for the work that they do. And I would just ask that the district DEs keep an eye on all the potholes that are popping up now, because with the weather, the freeze, the thaw that they're coming up, so just to keep I know you are, but just keep an extra eye out for that. And I just want to thank you and all your staff and your district for the work you do. I think you competed in the electric light parade again. They came up with a train that they created there, and they put in electric light parade, and they don't rank them anymore. But I get calls that was the highlight of the parade. Yeah. And it's employees that go and they walk on their own, and they're not getting paid. But it's a way to showcase that we're part of the community, and we're not, and let them know that, hey, we want to partake, and it's not only fixing roads, it's not only doing this. We're part of you, and we participate with stuff. So thank you for that. And if there's no other questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Rhonda, I want to thank Commissioner McElroy, and I want to thank the DEs, because these reports have been flowing perfect. I think they're at the right place where they're not too long. Everything's pretty much condensed, but we're getting a full picture. So I want to thank you. We built a concept, you guys designed it, and I think it's great. And the other thing is that at the end of the presentations, we have two more. I want to see if it's all right with the rest of the commission if we do it every other month. We do the reports instead of every month, because when we do have regular meetings, the agendas are pretty packed. And I think this gives them a chance to take their time to do their thing and we're not rushed and we don't bog them down. So I'll ask that at the end, but Rhonda, thank you.
Good morning. This a little bit. Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Thank you. I'm Rhonda Lopez. I'm the District 5 engineer. And this is the district's report for the month of November. Here's just kind of an overview of the district. I think most people kind of have an idea of where we're located and stuff like that. I think the big thing I want to highlight is we've got 324 employees. We are a little less than an 18% vacancy rate right now. I did have the opportunity to kind of follow up on the question that you had regarding how many positions that we've hired. So currently, since we got kind of the go-ahead last month, we've actually hired for 2 positions. And then we also have one that's pending approval through the general office, and then one that is pending a selection through the interview process. And then we have 5 positions that are currently posted. And we have received a list for one other that is awaiting interviews at this time. You're welcome. And then just the other item too is the budget for FY26 was 27.3 million. Workplace incidents. We had, like for work zones, we had 0 vehicle accidents. We did actually have 2 on-the-job injuries in the month of November. Both of those were attributed to weed whackers, actually, the both of them, coincidentally. One of them, the employee was starting the weed whacker and unfortunately wasn't wearing eye protection, and it kicked up a rock. So it hit his eye, so he had to get treated for that. And then the other one, the gentleman was wearing eye protection. I guess he was spraying some cleaner, and when he went to go spray it again, the nozzle was pointing in the opposite direction. He wasn't paying attention, and it happened to actually get through the safety glasses. But they're both doing fine. They're back at work, cleared and on normal duty. Access permits. Here's kind of a summary of all of our access permits for the month of November, broken down. So we had a total of 161 permits at the very beginning of November. We received another 60 throughout the month of November that were requested, and the total that we approved were 55. I know we didn't get a chance to present last month, but we actually had quite a few that were also accumulated from the month before in October. We had like 86 requests that came in the month of October. But I think the biggest thing that I want to emphasize here is that whenever we get any of these permit requests, they require review, the coordination with all of the applicants for all of the documentation that's submitted. And we have very limited staff. We actually have 1 utility permit agent at the district, a traffic engineer that's helping with that, but that's not all he does. He's also doing signings and striping and all the stuff that's related to the traffic section. And then we do have 1 augmentation staff member. And so I just kind of want to emphasize, we do really get a lot of requests, and with very limited staff, it's kind of hard to get everything that we get requested in a month out the door. Equipment, we have a total of a little over 1,000 pieces of equipment. 991 of them are operational. We have, or like when they gave me the snapshot at that point in time, we had about 29 pieces of equipment that were either at a vendor getting fixed or within the district shop getting fixed. and there's kind of a breakdown of the number of heavy equipment versus mid-size units. With the last snowstorm that we had at the beginning of the month, we did have 2 trucks that went down in the southern part of District 5 at the last snowstorm. Yes. Maintenance operations, this is a breakdown for November. I think the addition that we hadn't really seen before was the snow removal amounts. For November, we had about 10,573, what is it, pass miles? I guess I always forget the PM, yeah, which was about $115,000. We have the patching, blade patching, mowing. That's kind of gone down a little bit just because the focus now is a lot more on snow removal and more winter operations and stuff like that. So there's kind of a breakdown. And then for the maintenance operations, this is really items performed by district maintenance staff completely. So this is the breakdown of all of that. And then this is our contract maintenance. We are getting into the colder months, so our contract maintenance projects that we've had, we only have a few. The ones that are grayed out are actually ones that had already kind of presented on the last presentation, and so what's not highlighted in gray is kind of new information. So really the only new project that we kind of had was a fencing replacement project for 3 miles that was done on New Mexico 14. And of course, this work is managed and coordinated by maintenance staff, but we hire contractors to do the work. Construction projects, the same idea with the grayed out information. Really, the only thing that kind of had changed from the last presentation is % money and % time. We do have a few projects that are in substantial completion. They're at the end that we are, you can see kind of the % time is pretty significant. And on those ones, we are in the process of working through change orders that will kind of help resolve the time components there. Coordination, I just kind of wanted to highlight a little bit our local government staff. There's 2 staff members that we have in local government, and they really do provide a lot of guidance to multiple. We have a lot of tribal entities within District 5, and so they really do help and provide a lot of tribal and local government agency coordination. We have LGRF, they've kind of this last month, they'd help get through and execute 34 out of 35 agreements that we kind of had going through the process. For our MAP funding, all 7 agreements have been executed, and TPF, all 12 agreements have been executed. They're working through getting some of the capital outlay agreements. They're working with the entities to finalize those. They've had a few one-on-one meetings with Los Alamos County, the Northern Pueblo RTPO, which is pretty typical meeting that they attend every month, Navajo DOT. So they really do a lot of coordination. The picture that I have is they actually did a project site to Los Alamos County to take a look at one of the projects that Los Alamos had. We were doing the oversight on. Challenges. One of, interesting enough, we had a lot of significant rain events that hit District 5 in the month, like late October, early November timeframe. And so really we had a lot of flooding recovery were some of our challenges. We had some up in the upper part, like New Mexico 511, and the district went and they repaired that. There's kind of a before and after. You can see like a really big hole there where the guardrail is in between the road. And they went in and like did regrading and filled that in. And then on New Mexico 170, also grading and erosion repair. And then one of the other ones that I think I had actually mentioned at the last meeting was New Mexico 76. I think our crews have been out there like 4 times since the monsoons this summer, because these culverts keep getting plugged up. And after the last storm, they it really started even eroding further out and stuff. So we went out, we met with the Drainage Bureau and took a look at what we might be able to do through the district to kind of maybe help mitigate any other potential flooding that might come up to help prevent it from eroding where it had been. And so they, our crews actually did some grading in gabion baskets. They did it, they started on November the 13th, they completed it on the 25th, and they used materials that we actually had at the district. And so, I mean, the approximate cost was like $6,500, which to me is like amazing to get that done for such a small amount of money. And hopefully it'll work. We'll see when we get the next storm, but I'm sure it will. It looks like they did a really good job. Uh-oh. It is not forwarding. Oh, it was? Oh, okay. Let me go back. I need to be more patient. Oh, is that all I have? No. Wait, accomplishments. Okay, I was like, I'm done. This is great. Okay. All right. Okay, and this one's easy. Actually, this is just kind of a snapshot of some of our partnerships and coordination. A lot of this stuff actually is things that we do every month. I mean, we're always meeting with the counties and the MPOs, and there's always issues that are coming up. And so this is just kind of a snapshot. I think one of the top one is an ongoing issue. I'm sure you guys all are aware, like we had to close the Oñate Bridge. I mean, this is kind of dipping into like stuff that happened in December, but we had a meeting, a public meeting to kind of give an update to the community this past Monday. And so we're looking at what we can do to hopefully reopen the bridge, fix the issue that we're having with the scour, and then reopen the bridge. But in preparation to do that, our crews actually did go out and had to do some vegetation cleanup around the bridge that they completed, I think, like last week. And then I think one of the other big issues that we've been working through too is the Gorge Bridge, and just trying to see what we can accomplish to help with some of the suicides that have been happening at the Gorge Bridge. And that's kind of been an ongoing issue and coordination.
To help with the gorge, I think to pick up the wall and stuff like that, so.
Chairman, yes, that is correct. We are, the Bridge Bureau, they did an analysis, like an alternatives analysis to look at like 3 different options for raising the railing. And we have kind of an alternative that we've selected, and it will be about $8 million to do that. Any questions?
No, I think we thank you, Rhonda. Commissioner McElroy.
Can you give us kind of a time frame on those two, the Oñate Bridge and also the Gorge Bridge, as to what we're looking at as far as getting some of that going?
Yes, Chairman, Commissioner. So for the Oñate Bridge, I think the one biggest caveat is our coordination with the Army Corps of Engineers. We have reached out to a contractor to see what will be required to do the work, and in part of doing that is what their plan is to divert or do the dewatering for the river, and that is going to impact what we do with the Army Corps. And so that is going to really, I think that's like the critical path, is how long that's going to take. We're trying to get as much information so that we can get that to the Army Corps. Hopefully here, I think what the secretary said is he'd like to see if we could get something done by like here come in January. If everything falls into place, like given the time frame that we got from the contractor and everything, if everything works out and we were able to get the permits quickly, we're thinking it might be about a 5-month period once that happens. But I don't want to give like an actual like month or time frame because it really is dependent on the permitting from the Army Corps. So that's for Oñate. And then for the gorge, that we are also working through a lot of environmental components with SHPO and stuff because, you know, it is such a scenic bridge and stuff like that. So like that, now that we have kind of a preferred alternative. So Bridge Bureau, they are, their plans will be ready in July timeframe. And again, I think assuming that we're able to work through all the environmental and everything, we should be able to then go into letting and stuff like that, hopefully towards like the fall time of this upcoming in 2026.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We always appreciate your presentation.
Thank you.
Do we have any, Lisa, come on down. Do we have any Dallas Cowboy fans in here? Two, yeah, that's about right. I was gonna say that, it's not even worth saying. Lisa, welcome.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Oh.
There you go. Give it a second. It's just lagging. It is changing.
Okay. All right. My name's Lisa Vega. I'm the District 6 engineer. Thank you for allowing me to present this morning. Just if we can get to my first slide.
If you want to use this for the, oh, there it is.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Okay, so just to kind of answer your questions, in November, our vacancy rate was 10.93, which was 27 vacancies. And currently, our vacancy rate is 11.3%, which is 28 vacancies. So right now, we're working on basically 9 positions. So 5 are currently advertising and 4 are in the process of being hired, whether they're interviewing or we're waiting on internal approvals. And 19 of them are on hold. So that's where we're at as far as our vacancies go.
Lisa, why don't you use this? Is that work, if that's not working?
It's working now.
Okay.
Okay, and as far as workplace incidents, in November, we didn't have any. For our access permits, we have a total of 25. So 1 driveway permit, 19 utility permits, and 5 work permits. Currently, we have 20% pending correction for the utility permits and 35% are pending corrections for the work permits. For equipment, we have a total of 888 total pieces of equipment. 791 are operational, which means we have 97 that are currently not operational. So our screening plant, laydown machine, and chip box are actually currently in need of repair and all are waiting parts. Our needs list has actually grown since the last time I presented. So we've added 4 loaders and 10 brooms to our list of needs. And we actually are in the process of purchasing a new chip box, which is waiting to be picked up here pretty soon. Okay, so for maintenance operations, this is just a snapshot of what we've done in November. For litter pickup, we had about 3,500 trash bags picked up. For pothole patching, we had about 19.5 cubic yards that we were able to put down. Emergency pothole patching at 62 cubic yards, 130 cubic yards of blade patching, 349 pass miles of mowing. Of course, now we're done with chip seal season, so no chip seals. Guardrail maintenance, 750 labor hours. guardrail repair at 137 linear feet, and about 2,600 pass miles of snow removal. So for our contract maintenance, we haven't had much changes as most of our projects are complete. We have two of them, one on New Mexico 4 and one on US 60 that are scheduled to be completed in the spring of 2026. For construction projects, a lot of these are still actually under construction since we've had some warmer weather. We've only had the one on I-40, which is the third project down, 610-1581, which has, since December 1st, has gone into partial suspension for winter. And on to accomplishments. We got the 2025 statewide Best Project Award for our erosion control and road repair that we did on New Mexico 400. We got also best practices for our bridge crew, which they created a curb maker and asphalt curb maker. And we also were able to provide 5 families in need of, as part of our Thanksgiving, we were able to give them Thanksgiving baskets that had turkeys and all of the trimmings for Thanksgiving dinner. That was something that they were able to get together between the HEA, the Equipment Rodeo, and the Engagement Committee. For local partnerships and coordination, Maimira is an interchange in Gallup. It's at exit 22. They did their second public meeting. And just recently, we've also did a presentation for the city council. I also attended the I-40 closure and coordination workshop. I also attended our Transportation Infrastructure Revenue Subcommittee meeting. For Allison, we met with Representative Luncham and gave her an update, as well as the city of Gallup. We've had various meetings with local and tribal governments on projects within the district. And just like Rhonda said, our local government unit does a lot of work in the background, meeting with the local governments, making sure that their agreements are being done, making sure that they're meeting the deadlines they need to meet. So there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes. As far as our key priorities for next month, of course, we're going to continue to identify our priority list for next year's roadway and bridge projects. We're continuing to prepare for winter maintenance operations. We've had some snow, but not a lot. Of course, winding down our construction projects as temperatures get colder, and continue to attend meetings with our local and tribal governments and legislatures in preparation for the legislative session that's upcoming. And with that, I will stand for any questions. All right.
Our regards and our appreciation to everybody back in District 6.
I will. Thank you.
Continue the good work. And when I said earlier that good organizations, successful organizations listen, they listen. So I'm going to ask the DEs, and then I'll ask the commissioners, should we do these reports every other month, like when we're here, rather than monthly? Would you prefer that?
I would say every.
We can do them bi-weekly. But, so no, because we want to listen. This is good information, and this is what we were looking for. And again, I want to commend all of you and Commissioner McCoy for putting we came up with the concept and you guys designed it. I think it's perfect to where we're flowing. But I think on the other meetings that we have we have a lot of stuff on the agenda. Now we have a lot of time to go through it, ask questions. So I'm giving you the opportunity before I ask my fellow commissioners so that to see if they're listening to what. So you guys want to do it every other month?
Yes,
Okay.
I think we're.
Fellow commissioners, is that all right with you?
I agree with that, but probably you still need to probably have the district engineer, the host district engineer, present for the district.
No, that'll stay, that will stay part of it, because we've always done that, but to get the report from everybody. So with that, we listened, and you won. Merry Christmas. So
Applaud
thank you.
the idea. Good.
just almost like this, so you could combine it and just do it. I think the length of what you guys presented now was perfect, so that we're not, getting too detailed, but we're getting a true picture of what we were asking on projects and updates and equipment. So that'll work.
But I think what Ron is asking, do we combine those 2 months, because we gotta capture that.
Yeah, just combine the 2 months. And I think this was combined, I think this one.
Just Ron.
Yeah. Okay, we're good. Thank you. Okay, with that, we're gonna move along because I know everybody has to get home for Christmas. And I wanna get you home. Let's go over to the overview of Construction and Civil Rights Bureau. And Tish Clark, how are you? Welcome.
Good morning. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I am also a huge fan of Christmas, so I'm very excited. I'm Canadian, and as you know, our Thanksgiving's in October. So we get to put the tree up right after that, so very excited.
You're talking my language.
I'm pleased to be able to share the highlights of the Construction and Civil Rights Bureau this morning. So the NMDOT Construction and Civil Rights Bureau's goal is to provide the resources necessary to ensure the quality of construction projects by improving decisions made in the field, making information available for training, and to maintain statewide consistency. We're here to help. We're the government, right? That's what we do. So civil rights has a number of different groups. It's got a DBE supportive services that we have a group that goes out and helps the small businesses. We do that through webinars. We do it through meet and greets. We try and give them the resources that they need. DBE certification right now is in a bit of a state of flux because, as you may have heard, the administration in Washington has now removed race and gender from DBE. So we're currently in the process of determining what our certification process is going to look like and how that's going to affect everyone in New Mexico. So we're working with our legal department right now to come up with a new certification program, as is every state. And then we're going to figure out where we're going to go from there. We have limited guidance from headquarters on this so far, and so we are trying to work through it as best we can. Contractor compliance, we are making sure that the contractors are doing what they need to do with prompt pay and whatnot to their subs. Labor compliance, we're ensuring that the workers that work for the contractors are getting paid what they're supposed to do for the work that they're doing in the field. So we do a number of checks to make sure we do reports to federal highways to ensure that these are being captured. We have the National Summer Transportation Institute, so that's a program that we have typically done through UNM. And what we do is we bring high school students to UNM during the summer and do STEM activities with them. So it gives them a chance to see if this is kind of the career path that they would like to go on. It's an excellent program. We've been very successful with that. On the job training, so each contractor, based on the amount of money that they have received over the years, they're required to work in the OJT program, and what that does is it brings in younger apprentices at a certain wage that they get paid, and we actually help with some of that wage to train them up to be more efficient in the construction industry. So it gives them a chance to train up and get better and get higher paying jobs. ADA and Title VI, we're all getting older. ADA is very important, right? So we have a group that covers the ADA. They review our construction projects. They go out into the field whenever there's an issue with ADA. And even in the local entities, we're kind of the ADA experts, so we have a group that does that. Title VI ensures that we are preventing discrimination of low-income and minority populations. So we have the same people who cover ADA also cover Title VI. Construction support. So some of you may have heard of Bobby Benavides. He heads up the construction support section. He maintains AASHTOWare, which is the program that we use to track our contract documents and change orders. He also has people that work with project closeout. So as part of the federal program, we need to close out the project, and he has a group that does that. And we are currently trying to push forward with e-construction. So we've brought on e-ticketing now as a means so the people don't actually have to go out to the truck and pick up a ticket anymore. It can come in automatically and they can press a button. So it makes sure that the people are safer. kind of spearheaded with COVID because people didn't want to touch papers that other people were touching, so we're doing that. As well as some other things that we're trying to look at to push forward more digital type stuff. Construction augmentation. So this is a huge program that we have with us. We don't have enough inspectors in the field, as you know. And so we have 4 different contracts with consultants where we hire assistants, like inspectors, to come out into the field and help us with our inspections. We have 27 task orders issued for a total of $4.6 million right now since June of 2024. It's only a year and a half. We have $10 million for this contract, and it is a 4-year contract. So just to give you a heads up, we are fully utilizing these contracts and a little more than we have right now. So hopefully that kind of levels out a little, but right now that's where we're at.
When I first started back in 1977, DOT, I started off on a survey crew. We did our own staking. We staked out the projects. So there was a survey crew on board there at the project, and you go stake out culverts, bridges, whatever, right-of-ways, everything. Then they went to contractor staking. Then we were doing the inspection. We were doing all the testing and all that stuff. Then it went to contractor testing, and then we just became random. So eventually we've taken the role of the contractor now to where we just random check. The contractor does all the testing. Even the mix designs, we used to run our own mix designs, and I think the contractor runs them also. With the augmentation, it's grown and grown, so.
And the augmentation has a number of people with it. It's not just inspectors. We have lab techs. We have drainage engineers on there. We have a whole slew of different groups that come in and help the DOT where we're having trouble covering all the work. So we're very fortunate to have 4 excellent consultants with us that help cover that stuff. Tribal and local public agency is something that hasn't been so much in the past, but it's growing and growing. And we give a lot of money to the tribal and local public agencies to try and get their projects done, which is excellent. But a lot of the times they have higher turnover and they don't understand the rules that come with the federal funding. So we created the Tribal and Local Public Agency Training and Certification Program. And between June of 2023 and November of 2025, we have conducted a total of 21 training sessions throughout the state. And we have issued 562 certifications. So we've also kind of taken it to a new level where we're a little shorthanded right now. We've got like 3 vacancies out of 23, which is about 12%. And so what I've asked that staff to do, and they jumped in at the chance, was that they are also working with our local government construction liaison engineers. So they're actually going out in the field and inspecting these projects and reviewing the files so we can help understand where the deficiencies are to try and correct them. So it's been a really great program, and the trainings have gone over very well. There's a test at the end that they have to take. So they have to have the knowledge to be able to get the certification, and they can't receive money unless they have someone on board that has this certification. So it's very important. Construction liaison engineers. They're basically the cops for the DOT on federal highways' behalf. So they have a tough job. They have to review all the plans. They have to go in the field and make sure the plans are being built the way that they're supposed to. When changes happen in the field, we have to analyze the situation and determine who was responsible for it, whether it was a design oversight, which happens. Nobody's perfect, mistakes happen. And then we have to determine federal participation on changes. So it's their responsibility to ensure that the federal regulations and the specs are adhered to. So they have a tough job, and they do an excellent job at it. Should I press the button again? Okay. Okay, I'll just go ahead on. So the state construction engineer, that's me. I'd also like to recognize my assistant state construction engineer, Jessica Hunter, is in the audience. Stand up, wave, smile, there. So Jessica helps me immensely with all of the duties that come with the state construction engineer. So just to name a few, we're in charge of the spec book. So we are responsible for ensuring the different groups get their edits together and get everything together. I'm actually serving on 3 committees, which comprise of like 6 of the sections of the 900s. There's a lot that goes on with that. We've been currently trying to rewrite this since about 2021, and the goal is to have a new spec book out in July of next year. So it's finally going through the final edits. We are looking at rulemaking right directly after the session is over, and that will be for the Division 100, so that's like the contractual stuff. And so we work, and the contractors have had a chance to comment on those, and we took those into consideration and made some edits based off their edits. So it's a big undertaking, and there's been a lot of people involved in the DOT on those committees. So I'd like to thank them for all their hard work, because it is a lot of hard work. I analyze claims on behalf of the secretary because a lot of that's very technical knowledge, and so I analyze those to help him make his decisions. Attend mediations and litigations to solve claims along the same way, but we tend to go to mediation before we go to court. So we try and solve everything at the lowest level, because when we do, we save the taxpayer money, and that's the goal. We provide trainings to construction personnel. So I am a teacher at Doñana Community College in my spare time, and teaching is my passion. I fully believe in training the next generation. And so we have developed different trainings at CCRB to help those inspectors. We have field inspector training, basic. We are working on an intermediate one. We've done an introduction to PM. We've done little mini trainings with the new BABA requirements. So there's a lot of training that goes on from the Bureau, and we're always looking for ways to improve that. We review change orders to determine if contractors are warranted time. Federal Highway has designated the state construction engineer as the only person who can grant time in a federal contract. And that's a lot of pressure, but it's good. It's good because it keeps everything consistent. So the contractors know what they should be entitled to in every district, because it's one person reviewing it at the end. And so it's been very effective. I serve on multiple committees for construction-related information. We help oversee the pre-qualification program, and we assisted the deputy with the contractor milestone review process. These guys keep us busy. So that's $1.3 billion we have in active projects right now. If you add up all the districts, federal construction projects, we have $1.3 billion right now with 68 active projects. That's of the 3rd of December, so we are still staying very busy. Completed projects. The districts have done a fantastic job at finaling projects timely, and surprisingly enough, over the past years, it's been about $1.3 billion of federal projects they have closed out. So they've done a fantastic job. What are some of the things that we're looking forward to? We're moving forward with e-construction, so we managed to get some tablets out to the inspectors, and they are very excited about that. We only got about 4 or 5 per crew, and so they are currently asking that we try and find more money to try and get them more tablets. We'd like to move just towards tablets. They've been really good. They can do their diaries while they're in the field. They can pull up the plans, the specs, like everything on those. So they really like them. They already come Wi-Fi enabled, so that's a real benefit over the computers. We are looking at adding the materials tracking in AASHTO-ware. So we only use it for the construction portion right now, but there's another whole segment that we can add to it for materials tracking. So we wouldn't pay unless we have the proper testing credits there, and that helps us maintain our integrity for federal highway. We've just started to do quarterly assistant district engineer of construction meetings. Our first one was very good. We did them a long time ago, but we hadn't done them for a few years. And what we did is we brought all the ADEs together, and we're trying to maintain consistency without the state. So if some districts have something that's working very well, we want all the districts to know it and to work well. Why reinvent the wheel in each district, right? So we're moving forward with those. And the last thing I wanted to mention is we are resurrecting road warriors. I don't know if any of you know what that is. We did it years ago, like 2012, 2015, I think. But it is basically equipment rodeo for our construction personnel. So it is a day where they're going to put a team together. Each district will put a team, and the DEs, I actually have a meeting with them tomorrow to give them an update on what we're going to be doing. But we bring them in for about a day and a half, and we bring them some lunch, and we do some activities, and some are the skill sets that they're using in the field. We have a Jeopardy round that's coming, and it's going to test them on all sorts of things. We are going to have some special events for the DEs to help them help their team gain points, and we would like to invite the commissioners to join us because there may be some activities where you can help your districts earn some points. So that's going to be held on March 24th and 25th, and it will be held in Milan.
I remember the World Warriors. I was around then.
Fantastic event. We're looking forward to being able to showcase their efforts. So with that, I stand for any questions.
Well, I just, on behalf of the commission, we'd like to thank you and your area, your group, your team, and for the job that they do and the hard work that they put in. And give my regards to Bobby. I know Bobby very well when I was working up there. Great guy. And he's been there a long time too, a lot of knowledge there.
He is. There's a couple people that are getting, looking at retirement. So we're working on succession planning, but it's going to be a big loss. Bobby's been there a long time.
Fellow commissioners, any questions, comments?
If I may.
Yes, Commissioner Chenoweth.
Thank you. I just wanted to focus in on what you said about statewide consistency, and I really appreciate that that's part of your focus, because I think it's so important, not just for our entities, but for us as well, to be able to understand the policy and the challenges that you're working with. So thank you.
Commissioner McElroy.
Tisha, thank you for your presentation. I guess a couple of things. How many construction liaison engineers do you have, and how do you have them assigned, I guess, right now?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, so we have a state construction liaison in every district. So there's 6 there. And then we have 3 tribal local public agency ones. So there's 1 in the north, 1 in the south, and 1 in the central that covers those districts. We have 1 vacancy at the moment. We're hoping to get filled, but we normally have 9 CLEs.
What's your total staff in the construction bureau right now?
I'm glad you asked. We do a lot of stuff, and we have 23 people currently with 3 vacancies. So that's an awful lot of programs that we cover. One of the issues that we do have in the bureau is, we only have 1 or 2 people for each program. So there was a time when I lost both the ADA people at the same time, and another gentleman, Charles Trujillo, he had come back from a different agency, and he was the previous ADA coordinator, and he actually stepped in and helped train the new people. So that was good timing if you're going to lose everyone, but it is a concern that we have in the bureau, and so we do try and do some cross-training within the different groups to try and make sure that we have everything covered.
I was glad to hear that you're going to be, I guess, visiting with the Ds tomorrow, I guess, and I'm assuming a district engineers meeting of some sort. But I think it's important that we have good coordination between your office and the district engineers. So I think the districts can provide the input and what happened on a project and where they're at, and to help you with analyzing some of these time change orders, and also large 100,000 plus change orders that we have on projects. So the more you can work with the districts, the ADEs, and the district engineers, I think that's awfully important for a state construction engineer. It's just a comment.
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Excellent presentation, Tisha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, on behalf of the commission, thank you, and to your team. And who was your team? Raise your hand. Okay. If you want to come and give a just 10-minute brief.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman,
Tisha.
Commissioners.
And have a great Christmas, and I enjoy your spirit.
Thank you. I can't wait.
With that, we're going to bring up the city of Rio Rancho.
Oh, yeah, Charles, you're next. DJ.
I'll gladly defer.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity to present Rio Rancho making their request for automated speed enforcement cameras. My name is Isaac Chavez. I'm here with BJ Gottlieb, Lieutenant Pope, and Mr. Peter Wells from City of Rancho. This presentation is to present not only these cameras for New Mexico 528, but there's actually 3 particular areas that are of high interest. They are safety concerns within this corridor. This morning, I'd like to focus on one in particular, that is Pasilla and Riverside Drive. It's one of the 3 that are a concern for us for District 3. In front of you have the kind of the background that we've put together. Back in June, we met in town hall with the city of Rio Rancho and some of the residents and their concerns of this intersection. It's a safety concern. We did give them an update. We let them know that back in 2017 there was a corridor study, and at that time there was no safety improvements to be recommended. However, we started a study prior to our meeting in June. Thanks to Mr. Greg Clark, he's our engineering AD here at District 3, started another study to look into this matter. The study was completed in November. Based on some of the recommendations, it did not warrant a signal. So teaming up with District and the City of Rio Rancho, we've come up with some mitigations to address the safety concern at this particular location. From the DOT side is providing or eliminating the left out option when entering 528 from Pasilla and encouraging a U-turn. So when they get on 528, they'd go down to the south, make a U-turn, and head back to the north if they needed to. This is important to update that with Rio Rancho, we've been working together on this solution because if we don't have the justification for a signal, we do need and the speed cameras. That's where the speed cameras come in play for this particular area because they will help enforce and the traffic calming in this area. That's a short version from my side. Rio Rancho, I don't know, maybe Lieutenant, if you have a few words or
just a couple of comments. As we move forward with this, if it moves forward, and depending on where we're at today, I would like for Commissioner Chenoweth to be involved in the communication and so that she can get an idea, so she can better inform us of the need for it. And I know that in June, I think it was July, you were going to give the presentation, Isaac, and then I said, well, why are we presenting? Rio Rancho should be here, so we sort of tabled it.
Yes.
Then we moved to the last, I think it was in November.
September.
Mm-hmm. And we had a presentation. We had a couple of people here from Rio Rancho, and we had some people here from Las Lunas that were also requesting speed cameras. And so at that time, we didn't get, or the commission didn't feel that we had gotten enough information as far as traffic study, the corridor and everything. What's happening now, and it's happening all over the state of New Mexico, as of today, the only people we have approved for speed cameras is the city of Albuquerque, and that started off as license plate. It was going to help for license plate reading. As you know, the city of Albuquerque, Bernalillo County, they have one of the highest stolen vehicle rates anywhere. So we thought that not only would it be good to have cameras for that, but to assist in the stolen cars and stuff. So we approved that one, then Bernalillo came in. And so moving forward, around the state of New Mexico, we're getting requests and more requests for cameras. There's areas that we feel need them, and there's other areas that they're just requesting them. And I'm not saying they're requesting them just to request them, but they're not giving us any data or any justifications as to why they're requesting them. Some of the justifications are that we have a lot more traffic. Well, what this commission wants to emphasize is that there's a lot of areas that I was going to say before in the state of New Mexico that have changed. They've grown. Rio Rancho is one place where I don't think when they first developed it, they ever thought they were going to get the amount of traffic in those areas that they're getting now. And so before we go to the cameras, we like to send out, I'm having a situation in District 4 now, and we want to send out a team to assess the area, do a traffic study, check it out. And is it cameras we need, or do we need to redo the whole, maybe it's a roundabout, maybe it's a signal, maybe it's whatever it is. But we want to see if there's a solution before we jump to the cameras. And so in this case, I think you've been out there and you've analyzed it, and you have all come to the conclusion that at this point, I guess, it doesn't need reconstruction. It needs some cameras.
So based on the weekday traffic counts, it does not warrant a signal. And that was one of the big requests from that particular area that used that intersection. But we have analyzed it. We do have traffic data. Lieutenant Pope does have a few numbers he'd probably share with the group this morning. But we have looked into those measures. And that's why we're teaming up to look at what can we do immediately that can. One of the big issues was the left turn out of Pasilla, making that left turn crossing over 6 lanes, how dangerous it was. So we're looking at mitigating that, but we also need the help of the cameras to make sure that during off-peak hours, the speeding is calmed during that time.
Okay.
So I'd like to say that we are doing that. We have some history.
And when you say immediate relief, like, I mean, again, I don't know where we're going to end up with this, but I mean, if I put it on the agenda this time for informational. Again, we're going to get the information today. We got a little bit last meeting, and this will give us, I think, what we need, the information we need to move forward, to maybe put it to an action item on the next thing, on our next meeting, which would be in January. So I think that's pretty immediate as far as recourse if it passes.
Sure. And we'd be happy for that
Okay.
outcome. What I do mean is we'd be within the next few weeks, we'd be able to install candlesticks that kind of would deter from making those left turns out. Something we can do within the next few weeks. As far as the cameras, I believe they can be installed.
They're mobile.
So-
Yeah, Chairperson, Commissioners, thank you for hearing me today. Our mobile system, our cameras are mobile, so we can relocate them in different locations depending on the needs of the city as well as the request. So they're not stationary. They can be moved, and they don't have to be there permanent. They can just be relocated depending on the needs.
Okay, so that leads to another question, just to make sure that I'm clear. I don't know if the other commissioners have some questions, but when you say they're gonna be moved, are we looking to approve it for one area? Or are we looking to give permission so that you can move them to wherever you wanna move them?
Thank you for the
Because
question.
now we're going from an intersection that was having some accidents to being able to move them somewhere else. And in order to move them somewhere else, I would, speaking for myself, would think that we would need that data again and justification again to move them to another area.
Right, and we do have data for the 3 different areas. We're focusing, one of our, if we can have a priority, it would definitely be this intersection. If we can focus on this one first. And when I say mobile, one would be placed upstream and downstream of this intersection.
Okay, so in the request, when it comes through, and being that they're mobile, that it would include 3 locations. No more than 3 locations.
Chairman, hi, my name's Peter Wells. I'm with the City of Rio Rancho. So I can answer that question for you. So in the materials that we submitted, based on the directions from the DOT staff, what we submitted to you was in your packet in September, there were 3 specific locations that we asked for based on crash data and speed data. And that would be along 528 in the corridor area of West Side Boulevard to 19th, Sarah Road to Zenith Court, and Iris to Idalia. And that Iris to Idalia would include that Pasilla area. So we did not ask for the entire width of 528. We looked at the specific data from the COG and speeding data and then got it down to the worst areas, those areas that were above the means for crashes and injuries. So we were trying to be very precise. And then what we would do is that if we were to be given permission for those areas, we could move those cameras within those boundaries, but they would just be within those 3 distinct areas in that 9-mile stretch.
Okay, now I'm getting the picture. When you said portable, I'm saying that, we're gonna move them all over the place, and so I get it now, and your request, so.
And I had one other thing, if you would allow me. There was a question at the last meeting. You had asked about a community service program, and I just wanted to clarify something. We do have that buried in our code as an option. It just hasn't been used in several years. We had problems with people showing up to do the community service, but we already have embedded in our ordinance a community service option. It just hasn't been utilized in many, many years. So I just wanted to clarify what was said previously, because I know you did ask that the last time we were here.
Thank you, Mr. Wells. I appreciate that. Perhaps unbury it, so if someone does want to, take advantage of that, they can.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
still there, so.
Great. Thanks so much.
Fellow commissioners, is there any other questions? I guess, Commissioner Chenoweth, I would ask if you would be involved in these meetings and the communication, and if you would also be involved with our attorney to make sure that when they put the language according to their recommendations as to where to place them, that everything is clear, and that at that point, if they were to move any other place, that they would have to come back before this commission to seek approval, and it wouldn't be it wouldn't be going back to the district and saying we want 3 more places, as we did with Bernalillo, because Bernalillo had requested too that we give the jurisdiction to the district and that they be allowed to decide, and we said we weren't going to give up that right. So if these 3 places are approved, then you wanted to put a 4th or 5th or 6th place, then they would have to come again before us. So.
Understood.
Okay.
Certainly, thank you.
So with that, is there any other questions? So with that, I would just say, Tammy, if you can place that on the agenda for next meeting as an action item, and we can discuss it at that time and take a vote.
I will add that next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Thank you guys for being here and for your request. Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you, appreciate it.
With that, we're going to bring up Charles Remke, the one, the only, the myth, the legend.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and as it relates to, I know your agenda of having tight, very succinct presentations, I blew it. But to that end, I'll get us through, and I'll get us through fast, so.
Is yours another 3-hour one?
It could be. Hopefully not. No, I recognize I'm pretty close to the end of the agenda, so I know everyone wants to get out here, and so I'll speak fast. So that said, today's associated presentations on intelligent roadways and intelligent services.
Just before you start, Charles, I just want to let everybody know I had a conversation with you right before the meeting. As a lot of you are aware of, we have cameras up in different areas all over the state of New Mexico. In weather conditions, you can get up on them and see what the weather is, and it gives you an indication of what you're going to be driving in and stuff. And the one thing that I brought up, I think it was like 2 years ago, we were getting some installed in my area, in our district, and I had wanted to see if they could get, if the technology had risen to the point where they had infrared or whatever you call, I don't even know the right term. But
there's
so
infrared
you could get on
and
it
low
at
lux.
3 o'clock in the morning where it's pitch dark, and it would illuminate just almost like security cameras and stuff. And Charles assures me that we do have that technology, but it's at a point where it's a lot more expensive at this point. So hopefully, as I would say, Charles, as technology moves forward and those cameras become more affordable, that we look into placing those. And I don't know if eventually they'll have something that we could even upgrade our current ones with, but that's down the road.
Mr. Chair and fellow commissioners, yes, there is. There's some limitations, even though there's a thing called low lux and there's also infrared, but infrared does need a heat signature. So you have to have something out there other than just some of the ambient conditions. To that end, I would talk a little bit about some of the needs for the department on that front. But intelligent roadways are specifically roadways that integrate advanced technologies like sensors, comm systems, and analytics to improve management systems and efficiency. Systems can monitor roadway and driving conditions, evaluate traffic flow, detect the presence of incidents and crashes. The benefits to these include reduced congestion, accidents, optimized capacity, and improved emergency response times. Key components of technologies include sensors and cameras. Those essentially give us information on what's going on the network, communication systems in which to connect all the devices and also bring the information back to a centralized point, analyzing the data in order to be able to determine what it means, and then, of course, the people and the relationships so that this data can be turned into actionable intelligence. ITS is essentially one component of what's called transportation systems management and operations. That's the enabling technologies and infrastructure. Just briefly on this is how we use it within the operational management, as well as the different services that we can provide, which go into multimodal mobility services, whether it's pedestrian or commercial vehicle operations and such. And we'll touch a little bit more on that as we get on to the presentation. Intelligence services that we essentially provide within the DOT right now include roadway and traffic surveillance, traffic information dissemination, incident and event management, work zone management. I think that there was discussion earlier with some of the elements going on with District 1 on trying to improve safety in work zones. And there's a few improvements that are immediately low-hanging that can be able to accommodate that, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then the commercial vehicle operations specific, you're hearing more and more about autonomous vehicles and using commercial trucks. The DOT's been heavily involved in not only the notification process, but collaborating with the industry to ensure that this stuff is being introduced in a safe and responsible manner. The roadway traffic surveillance systems that we use in our infrastructure right now include road weather information systems, closed circuit TV systems, traffic sensor systems, wrong way detection systems, game detection systems, and more we're relying on what's called third-party probe data. And that's collecting information from various sources so that we can leverage what's out there and get a better idea of what's going on. For example, on the NM Roads application that we're using as part of our traffic information dissemination, we're collecting crowdsourced data through like Waze and being able to use that for the admin users in order to have like a tap on the shoulder, like, hey, something's going on, look here. Information dissemination. I mentioned NM Roads, the web-based traveler advisory system that's available not only a desktop but in a mobile environment. It also has multiple features, including being able to actually see the cameras, getting an idea of what's going on the roadways in the palm of your hand. The Transportation Management Center, Mr. Chair and Commissioner Chenoweth, I had the opportunity to walk you through a tour of that. I encourage that with all the commissioners. It's and in a lot of ways, we're trying to have that as being I guess, a recipe of development on a more abbreviated scale with all the other districts to have actionable centers, traffic operation centers as compared to a full-blown transportation management center, to start building up and fostering that local capability. Dynamic message signs, you see them on the roadways, are used for quite a few different things. Whether it's roadway closures, crashes, and inclement weather, and then truck parking availability signs. This is an area we've recently delved into with the commercial TPAS units, truck parking availability systems all along I-10. This was done in conjunction with Arizona DOT, Caltrans, and TxDOT. And happy to say, New Mexico, we were the first to be able to get this corridor coalition actually boots on the ground. And in fact, a few others are still in the, I'll just call it introductory phase of being able to get the data out there. And then the various other information can be a simple binary system, like yes, no, something's happening, like the driver alert systems. If there's something flashing, please take heed and care and follow the messaging on the signs. Incident and event management. This is really a really critical element of what we do and why we do it. And this actionable intelligence that I mentioned earlier, you can see in the top right-hand corner, that's the DOT's RTMC. We actually share space with the city of Albuquerque. We share space with Bernalillo County and the various response agencies that are instrumental, as you can see with you can see our help trucks there, but in the middle of all that, you'll see some of the enforcement folks that are out there trying to get the roads back open. For every 3 minutes that a roadway or a lane's closed, the odds of having a secondary accident or crash go up like 3%. So it's really critical that we get out there and try to assist whatever way we can to get those crashes cleared and the roadways back open. Work zone management. Once again, mentioned some elements associated with how can we make it not only safer and more efficient for the public traveling in and around through the work zones, but the work zones folks themselves to be able to be made aware. At this last ITS conference, I shared with Deputy Secretary Moabed about a system that comes into play that gives an audible alert of whenever there's going to be an anticipated encroachment approaching the work zone that goes in, that's basically like a semi-horn to give the workers in the area a level of alert, and that can be tied back through a localized Wi-Fi system of like vibrating vests and things of that nature. Our commercial vehicle operations, I mentioned recently or earlier about the I-10 Corridor Coalition and being able to have that system up and running. That's proved to be very, very effective and well received by the industry and the community of knowing where available parkings are so that they don't have to spend a lot of their valuable time on their length of service associated with looking for a spot. New Mexico, especially on I-10, we sit right at that 11-hour length of service point between the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach and the ports of Houston. That's 3 of the busiest commercial ports in the United States. And by and large, traffic parking hits our state when they hit that length of service time. So that's why you typically see all the parking on the side of the roadways, on the ramps, on the exits. And this has helped to try to alleviate some of that so that they can have safe parking and they can be made aware of it in advance. This is available through both a web application, and we also put it on our NM Roads application to all the different users within the community. Inventory count. People think of ITS as CCTVs, as DMSs, as installations. I just wanted to provide you guys with an appreciation of what we have and where it's at. We're constantly improving our footprint or adding to it. We have 132 DMS installations, 182 CCTVs, and 25 RWISs, all at critical locations designed to either provide information for the driver to when they can make some proper decisions ahead of an event so that they can take alternative arrangements, as well as those locations that have been identified in what we call the ITS architecture of having real special needs. Those special needs, for example, Klein's Corners, you know it gets hit. It can be like Siberia out there sometimes. The same thing, we have Glorieta Pass and Raton Pass, all having a real impact on safety and mobility and environmental or economic productivity. Our communications coverage, we talk about having the fiber optic systems that brings all these things together. Primarily, we have what's called our hosted networks, which are outside of the Albuquerque area, and then we have our own network. The rest of those other locations where you had the CCTVs and DMSs and RWISs, we typically use wireless communication devices like cellular devices, or even use a DSL service from local providers. Focus services. So all this information and data is really designed to come up with a plan of action on this actionable intelligence. So a lot of times it's bringing in data and information from a bunch of different sources. The dust storm detection systems are really probably a prime example of how we're using our network surveillance, we're using our incident management, and we're using the information dissemination services all in one capacity to essentially mitigate the impacts associated with dust storms. Operational engagement. You know, we talk about part of TISMO is how well we play with others. We've done this through the sharing of resources, data, infrastructure, access and systems management, operations and maintenance, transportation agencies and disciplines to best leverage our time, money, equipment, staff to accommodate the best operational decisions in real time. These include the City of Albuquerque, the City of Las Cruces, Rio Rancho, Bernalillo County State Police, Santa Fe Indian Schools, Los Alamos National Labs, and also exchanging and sharing this information with Waze, National Weather Service, and also third-party app developers. We're also positioned to support change that's upcoming. Everyone's talking about autonomous vehicles and connected vehicles. Just briefly, I know there's a lot of information here. Autonomous vehicles, they have the capacity to make decisions on their own, on these onboard automated driving systems. They do not need to have access to outside data. Connected vehicles need that. They're pulling in information associated with what's going on the different roadways, as well as what's going on the different vehicles that they may come across. And then highly autonomous vehicles are essentially a hybrid of the two. So there's autonomous vehicles that are also relying on the automated or the connectivity in order to get information in real time as to what's going on the infrastructure, and being able to basically do advanced planning on that, whether it's road restrictions associated with construction, whether it's associated with inclement weather, those kind of issues. And that's where you're really going to see the autonomous vehicle moving, or industry moving toward. I mentioned NM roads. I've highlighted two things there, the RSS feed and the GeoJSON feed. It's more than an information dissemination device. These are the lifelines by which those autonomous and connected vehicles are getting the information as to what's happening in real time on our roadways so that they can make those advanced decisions, just like a regular driver would. Artificial intelligence. We talk a lot about it, and just want to let you know, yeah, it's here. But it's here in varying capacities. And I'll talk a little bit about how we use it within our operations in ITS. Essentially, I did a Google and asked AI what it was. And this is what AI came up with. The capability of computer systems to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. Did I do something? I think that's my cue right there. It's appropriate. So just to let you know, these are some of the AI systems. Let me go back if I could. I love that. That's just perfect flying. But the dust storm systems, what the dust storm system does is uses information that it's gathering all along the different elements that we're capturing, whether it's visibility, whether it's roadway, the actual wind speeds, whether it has to do with the relative humidity. All these things come into play at the propensity of having a dust storm coming into effect. So you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, we have different levels of responses associated with that on how these different devices are going to react and ultimately provide a good response for the driver. One thing I really want to stress early on that, when I mentioned on that three-legged stool of TISMO, it's the human behavior element of it and what we can do with this information. Part of the biggest solution to this had to do with public education. For the longest time, we ran information associated on what's appropriate to do. Then I'm dating myself a little bit here, but are you guys familiar with what's called Burma shave signs? So we put up on the I-10 the things for a driver to do if they're caught in a dust storm. It's like in a sequential rolling motion. That has a real dramatic impact. You know, basically you pull off to the side of the road, you turn your headlights off, you take your foot off the brake because you don't want your brake lights on and have people try to follow you and then rear end you when you're on the side. And then it's just those particular elements. Another thing we did is that we used salvage mill tailings and we widened the shoulders, thanks to the folks at District 1, for being able to have safe place to pull off the side of the road. So it was a really concerted effort associated with not only technology, but just some common sense and getting the right people to come up with different facets of what the solution would be. Crowdsourced data aggregation. On our NM Roads application, we're pulling in information knowing what is going on the roadways, as well as we're also pulling in, for example, for construction management, a thing called that's dash cam data. That identifies not only what a crowdsource is what's being seen down on the roadway, but it captures in real time what is being seen by a driver, whether it's associated with you know, the traffic control configurations, or you can define it for user parameters that the system and the application become more adept and smarter at. If you want to tell it that, hey, I'm not seeing the lines on the particular roadway at full illumination, it'll use that as a benchmark, and then it'll start taking inventory of where you're going to need to have do repairs on your roadway marking network. Same thing for signs, same things for guardrails. Video analytics. This, in a lot of ways, I talked to you about the cameras that we have and the count that we have. We don't have access to all that information at any one time. So we have some applications running in the background that's learning things as to what should be occurring and what's an anomaly. For example, when you see a pedestrian on that, those pixels that are being lit up there associated with the movement of that person, that comes in as an alert to our drivers or to our operators, and they know, hey, I need to look here and be able to either identify what the particular responder should be out there, as well as identifying, is there any kind of messaging I need to have? You know, you see the commercial truck that's stranded there, that's actually in the I-40 in Rio Puerco. That's outside the extent of what we have for our help trucks, but we use this for our help trucks for early detection associated with motorist assistance. Virtual RWIS stations. We're finding that we can pull in data and information from multiple weather stations besides what we have, and that can be tied into different programming elements associated with what's available from the different providers. And these are being pulled in and provided to us. The ones that are circled are not actually real stations, but that's providing information on what the actual conditions are. And it can be a very low-cost solution to provide I would say within an 85 to 90% accuracy as to what's going on the roadways in those particular areas. So we're using technology as well as the AI elements in ways that are trying to minimize our cost as well as minimize the overhead and maintenance requirements that can be onerous at times, especially at areas that are some of the worst areas we have are the hardest to get to. And as such, it becomes a real challenge to make sure that they're operable. The TPAS ground truthing analytics, I talk about, us being able to provide information to the trucking community, what's available. We have to verify that. And when we do that, we actually have cameras there, and those are looked at a person on the ground operations. Well, we're transitioning that with the level of video analytics to identifying, okay, what are we seeing and what are we reporting? And then we've established a variance there that said, okay, if we're within 98% variance, our accuracy, we're fine. But if we get below that 95% accuracy associated with what we're seeing and what's being identified from the cameras and that AI engine, then we need to go in and have a person look at that, and that sends out an alert. Traveler information, the NMRO's application's a good application. It's really strong. It really, the capabilities are amazing. I'm very proud of it, and I hope everyone here uses it and has it loaded up as an app. But in a lot of ways, it still is incumbent on having a lot of input or requests coming from the user. Basically, they can set things up as to, hey, I want to get notified of whenever there's a crash on I-25 during the weekday from 7 in the morning till 9 because I commute up to Santa Fe and I want to know what's going on. And they'll get that to them. It'll be automatically sent to them, but it requires their input up front in their profile. We're looking at how can we make this application more conversational in tone, more easily accessible associated with how we would expect to get user and information. Talking to your remote on TV in a lot of ways. So show me the cameras on the way. I'm going to Santa Fe, and then basically the application through hands-free driving. That's also it can be multilingual as well. Say, would you like to know this? Okay, you respond, yeah, show me the cameras. Okay, so there's the cameras along the route. Okay, can you show me the map of the cameras on my route? Yes, show me those. Okay, there they are. And then you can ask, okay, how long is my trip going to take? So you can send notifications as to when they should actually leave associated in advance of that. So with that, I'm trying to bring this into, this would actually show up as part of the something to be able to archive and document that will essentially provide the message to them so that it will be able to be archived for them. So ITS, the value associated, not only with what we do, but ultimately it costs money. And the question is it worth it? Well, it's making our roadways safer and more efficient. Technology is becoming stronger, technology is becoming cheaper, and it's being able to be used in different ways, especially as it has to do with AI and being able to get through and sort through a lot of information that's determined at some point to be really relevant and not having to sift through a lot of the extraneous stuff. So closer to home, our help trucks. The whole idea of what we're doing is to get these roadways open and more in a faster way. It makes it safer for the public. It makes it safer for the responders. But just some numbers that were being pushed. Essentially, for every minute a lane is closed, it results in about 6 minutes of subsequent delay. An estimate of $12,000 of lost productivity of every minute of delay. So the lost productivity per lane associated with the peak period is, approximately, 2,000 for that time. So assuming you have one lane of delay, which a lot of times we do with the help trucks, and assuming that it's during a peak period, so I've put some factors in that we have 5 hours within an 11-hour period of running the help trucks on that we consider to be peak periods. That would come to a normal service call of around 2,525 minutes of clearance time. when you start looking at that and extrapolate those numbers, and on the early clearance, if we can get that done in 50% reduction time, which I think that's a modest estimate, that's close to, on a weekly basis, about $2.3 million of productivity, economic productivity that those help trucks are providing when getting quicker clearances. So what's next on some of the low-hanging fruit? I won't get too much in this, but one of the things that I was working with Paul Brasher on was being able to use AI on some of our agreements that we have with the local entities to really discern what's the level of responsibilities we have as compared to the local entities. And that's still a work in process. I might have to ask you to... Okay, with that, I can ask for, I'll stand open for questions. And hopefully, I didn't kill the goose.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Good, Charles. Charles, fascinating. Thanks for the presentation. One of the things that caught my attention, you talking about the 11-hour ceiling between ports and, seeing the sign there about availability of parking spaces. It's like 25 miles ahead, there are 6 spaces left, and I'm thinking I've got to speed up so I can get to it. Probably not the right thing to do, but I'm not sure if the question is best for you or one of the DEs or other DEs with regard to those parking areas for this commercial traffic, these trucks. Do those areas need to be expanded? Are we at capacity with some frequency?
Mr. Chair and Chairman Thompson, I will defer that to the districts. I don't want to make a judgment call on the expansion. What I would say is that they are consistently full and they're consistently still overflowing. Now, one of the things that came out is really interesting when we started evaluating its use is that, we thought that there's just a small amount of space that or truck parking space that we as a DOT manage and operate as compared to the commercials. And it's true, there is. But for varying reasons, you're still going to see people park on the roadways. You're still going to see them parking on the exits, even though that may not be the safest place to be. But a lot of it has to do with they're not wanting to be bothered, for example, with some of the private areas. Those can be a haven for criminal behavior, prostitution, drugs, things like that. And a lot of the drivers just they're opting to get away from that. So there's varying elements of influence as to why they're using our facilities and why they're not using private spaces. What we'll find is that sometimes they're using the private spaces for amenities and then go park someplace else.
From fellow commissioners.
Thank you for that. I also think it's fascinating, and I was going to ask about the use of AI, so thank you for addressing that as well. Whatever efficiencies that we can accomplish is great, and to increase the safety and the information that we get. I wanted to ask a question. A few years ago at a TIERS meeting, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, there was a professor from a university in Indiana, it could have been Purdue, who talked about sensors in roadways to help bring data forward to predict when a portion of roadway was going to fail, or before it failed, when it needed maintenance, et cetera. Has that developed any further? And is that something that's commercially available, et cetera?
Mr. Chair, Professor, and Commissioner Chenoweth, one of the things that we've really tried to do on any evaluation associated with our roadway network, whether it's current road conditions or whether it's state of conditions, is really trying to avoid putting anything in the pavement or in the sensors. And there's a few reasons why. One is failure. 2 is maintenance and operations and safety associated with our staff and production to being able to manage that. And then the third has to do with the cost associated with traffic control and the impact associated with lane closures associated with putting in pavement sensors. Now, that said, there is varying degrees of non-invasive sensors that can provide you with a host of information. And within our road weather information system, we can determine what the current state is, the presence of ice, the presence of snow, the presence of water, what's called a grip factor, how are these things are translating to how slick a surface is, and reduction of friction. Those things, I don't know of anything intimately associated with just natural wear and degradation that you would see associated with getting a roughness index via using styluses or something like that. But it's certainly worth investigating, and what we're trying to do is explore how we can use technology more and more to help operations and maintenance as compared to just information dissemination, accident clearance. And one of the things that we're doing on that front is trying to work with some of the smart snowplows that will also be able to download data so that our operators won't have to, at the end of a shift, fill out these forms. So we've worked a little bit with Fleet on how we can activate some of the onboard units that are now coming with either the Cirrus units or the Force America units that are being used to leverage that data and information.
Thank you. Yes. Commissioner McElroy.
Question I had, Charles, and by the way, very good presentation, very interesting. Some of the cameras, if you look at our inventory count, I guess kind of wondering, say I-25 corridor from Cruces to Los Lunas, there are no cameras. I mean, no Socorro, Tier C, and then you look at some of the other major U.S. routes, like say US 550 up in the Farmington area, also US 70 going to Roswell, Clovis, maybe on 285 also. I mean, is there, I understand the reasoning behind the cameras and traffic management in major urban areas, Cruces and Albuquerque, but are there some other issues with maybe placing more cameras in like rural areas, like having those areas covered too?
Mr. Chair and Commissioner McElroy, your point's well taken, and those have been identified on our ITS strategic plan. We've identified locations. All these locations that we have this data or we have this infrastructure in place, and where those needs are established are through what's called the ITS architecture. We've recently updated this last year, our ITS architecture. What that is that's a planning element that takes into account all different stakeholders enveloped within a different geographic region for a certain period of time. We use like a 5-year window for maintenance of the architecture, but within that architecture, we've identified it as being either a high priority or short-term in nature, which is between 2 to 3 years, then midterm between 3 and 8 years, and then longer than 8 years is what's considered to be a long-term. And those are established by priorities. And those priorities are brought in by not the ITS folks, they're brought in by the operation folks. So they're brought in by the maintenance folks. And it's done through these listening sessions that we have. And it can also include not only the DOT, but the local entities, as well as other stakeholders. It could be rural transit, identifying what some of their needs are. But we do have those staked out, and I'll be glad to share with you where some of those are. For example, one comes to mind was US 82 in the Cloudcroft area, having on RWIS and a camera in and around that area. The I-25 corridor, we have plans to fill in some of those gaps associated with the like in truth or consequences. Two elements associated with a successful implementation is access to power and access to good communications. And a lot of times, some of the strongest needs, you don't have those present. We've really consistently tried to avoid going with solar units. They're subject to vandalism, they're subject to theft, and where we can, we try to find a logical point, and we'll put a step-up, step-down transformer to accommodate those longer runs. And we too have been dealing with problems with theft of copper, so we've transitioned toward an all aluminum, basically service conductors. So.
Is that it? Well, thank you, Charles. I've known you for a long time, and I want you to know that you do a great job. And on behalf of this commission, let your team know that we appreciate all the work being done by you and by them, and continue to keep us as far ahead on technology as we can. I know every time I've called you with something, you've been very, very good in responding and getting things done and listening. So thank you, and thank you for your presentation here today.
Well, we had great executive staff support, and also the people that work with me at the ITS Bureau. I always consider myself the weakest link in the chain. So thanks.
Thank you, Charles. With that, we're going to go ahead and move on to encampment and other trespasses on New Mexico. Welcome, John. And I'll lead into it. I had asked our legal counsel, John Newell, to look into encampments. We're starting to get encampments on our right-of-ways. And we just had one in my area where it was right on the shoulder, right next to a stripe, right next to the shoulder stripe, and it was leading into a motel, gas stations. There's a lot of heavy traffic. And our district engineer contacted state police, and state police, because as we know, DOT doesn't have the power of enforcement. We can request, but we don't enforce. And so our D spoke with state police, and they didn't remove him, and we had to work with other agencies to finally get that individual removed and put in a safe area, safe for himself and safe for everybody else, because the traveling public was complaining because they were afraid they were going to hit him, especially at night when it's foggy and all that stuff. So I had asked John to come up with something to see if how we can enforce it, and he'll tell us. We can ask, but we can't enforce. Correct, John?
That is correct. And thank you, Chairman Adams. Good morning, members of the commission and Deputy Secretary. Chairman Adams has taken a lot of what I was going to say. So he is quite correct. There are statutes on the books. I included a few of them in the background material supplied with the brief. One is 67-7-1, which is obstructions on the highway. It's a petty misdemeanor, but it tends to focus more on things on the highway rather than off the highway on the right-hand way. I mean, there may be arguments that it's all part and parcel to the same thing, but again, it's a petty misdemeanor. The department doesn't have the power to enforce that. That would require law enforcement. There's 67-7-2, which is about not erecting obstructions, buildings, structures, things of that nature on the on the highway. Again, it may be an issue on right-of-way. These are very fact-dependent circumstances, so every one of them may be different. The one Chairman Adams discussed might put it enough on the highway or close to the highway to be an obstruction. It might not. These are the types of things we'd have to look at. But again, other than a civil action for ejectment, which is something we've discussed within the Office of General Counsel, we don't see a way for the department to enforce any of these. I didn't go on to the general criminal statute for, sorry about that, general criminal statute for trespass, which includes knowingly entering or remaining upon lands owned, operated, or controlled by the state. So in addition to the statutes in Chapter 67, 30-14-1 is the general criminal trespass statute also pertains to state lands. So again, all of these are enforced by law enforcement. It is possible the department may be able to seek a civil ejectment, but it would be on a case-by-case basis. It'd be a civil process, which would mean a lawsuit and considerable time and energy. And then if the person moved out and moved right back in, we'd have to do all of it all over again. So really, from a legal standpoint, our assessment is, I can't really give legal advice in an open meeting like this. Our assessment is that other than cooperating with law enforcement, the department does not have a good way to remove people. We can remove abandoned property on the right-of-way, but we cannot remove people. I will add to what Chairman Adams said about the situation in Las Vegas, that there are other situations ongoing throughout the state. For instance, the city of Gallup just withdrew their partnership with us. Their police department will no longer be enforcing trespass, at least as a matter of policy, a matter of course. On our right-of-way, we would be able to make police reports, but whether they would act on that or not is up to that police department based on its available resources and its enforcement priorities. So it kind of leaves us in a situation where, as the chairman indicated, the department would be best to seek partnerships either with local law enforcement or other local entities to try to lessen or move these encampments or have them moved off the right-of-way. I will mention, I think District 3 has I think District 3 has an agreement with APD. Is that correct?
Yeah, they do.
With APD to do this type of work. So those agreements do exist. It's just, that's what would be necessary, something along those lines.
So I guess in our conversations, John, I'm gonna see if I can work with the governor's office and seeking and maybe sitting down with state police and coming into some kind of how we can approach this in the future, because a lot of people don't realize this. Back in the day, we used to close roads, for example, for snow, and they'd close a road. And we would put our DOT people there with the roadblocks, telling people they couldn't cross. Well, some of the people got rowdy and they were putting our employees in danger, so we don't enforce anymore. What we do is, if state police wants to shut a road down, we assist them in setting up the road barriers and everything, but it's up to them to enforce that nobody goes through. So I'm gonna work with them, and hopefully I can come up with something and bring it back to the commission and obviously, bring you in on it and see if we can come to some kind of because my concern isn't really the felony or it's to get people safe. And in this case, our only concern was that eventually it started off with a couple of things and then it turned into tents and baskets and so we just want to make sure that people are safe, the people that are driving and the people that are in camping. So thank you, John.
And you and I also talked about liability concerns. And while generally speaking, liability to a trespasser is less than to an invitee or a guest, there are instances where if the department knew, for instance, there was a dangerous section of road that was prone to, say, slide-offs and people were camping there, there could be some increased liability. So I know when we talked, I hadn't fully explained that part of it, and I wanted to let you know.
Well, I appreciate it, and I'll keep you apprised of where I'm going with these conversations.
Okay.
Right. And thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you, everyone.
With that, we're going to go on to dates and locations for action on our 2026 State Transportation Commission schedule. And Commissioner Taylor isn't here today, and he has asked for Bloomfield for January 15th. Tammy, you can help me with this, 2026, correct?
That's correct.
And then our February meeting would be here in Albuquerque. And I would approve it, but in January, we can make a stipulation to it, because I would rather the secretary be here so that he can determine whether the 19th doesn't conflict with the legislatures, if they need to be there or whatever, so we can change the date on that one. But we'll go ahead and leave it as tentative. we'll, we can approve it as tentative on the 15th. And then on March, we're in District 6, and Commissioner Lundstrom's not here, and so I'll ask you, do you have any?
I spoke to Commissioner Lundstrom, and he was wanting to do grants.
Okay, so we'll put grants down there for March 19th. Then we're back in Albuquerque. And then on District 2, I talked to Commissioner Tonjes, and he had spoken with Francisco, and they want to go to Lovington, correct?
Yes.
Okay. There's going to be a lot of traveling. In fact, some of these places I'm leaving tomorrow to get there. And then we're back in Albuquerque on June 18th. July 26th would be in D4. We'll go ahead and do it in Las Vegas.
July 16th.
Or July 16th, yeah. Then we're back here. District 3, we'll be here in September. What is your preference?
We were just in Albuquerque this year.
You can just put down a place as tentative. We'll put that as tentative, and you can change it. We have all these months to change it next day.
Okay, can we just leave it as TBD until the next meeting?
Yeah,
And then
we can do that too.
Ricky's.
Yes. Then we're back here, and then on November 19th, we're in District 1, and you want to have it in Deming, correct?
Correct.
Commissioner, am I correct? So, do I have a motion to approve January 15th in Bloomfield, February 19th as tentative, but in Albuquerque, date tentative, March 19th, grants, April 16th, here in Albuquerque, May 21st, Lovington, June 18th, back here. That's my birthday, so don't forget. July 16th would be in Las Vegas. July 27th, back here. September 17th, we're going to leave that to be determined. October 15th, Albuquerque. November 19th, Deming. And December 17th, Albuquerque. Do I have a motion on what I just read?
Move for approval.
I have a motion for Commissioner McElroy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Chenoweth. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it carries. You have them all now. Thank you, Tammy. And so that is done. Now we're going to go on to updates on the Manuel David Quintana. How you doing, Dave? Don't talk about the Raiders, okay?
Pleasure. I do not want to speak about the Raiders at all today. But with that, I will let Brad Julian, the subject matter expert for the MUTCD with New Mexico DOT supplement, give you guys the details on this. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commission members, and Deputy Secretary Mobed. As David said, my name is Brad Julian. I'm the State Traffic Engineer for New Mexico DOT. Been working on the adoption process for the 11th edition of the MUTCD. NMSA 66-7-101 requires that the State Transportation Commission adopt a manual and specifications for the uniform system of traffic control devices on highways within the state. And so the process that NMDOT has been pursuing is adoption of the 11th edition of the National Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, in combination with a NMDOT supplement. And the NMDOT supplement is something that's relatively new to the DOT. We've never done this before, but it seems like it's needed. through the years, I've been with traffic for a long time, and so through the years I've kind of collected a bunch of requests that I get from like district traffic engineers on standardization of practices that NMDOT does. Because for those of you that are somewhat familiar with the METCD, there is quite a bit of flexibility in parts of the manual, and so the intention for the supplement is to try and standardize some of our practices within the state. And so I'm not going to. I provided a draft copy of the supplement in the commission brief.
We've had a chance to review it.
Thank you. And so I'm not going to go through each point. I will hit the high points, and then I will stand for questions. So the manual is broken up into 9 parts. 4 of those will remain unchanged for NMDOT. Those are the parts that relate to automated vehicles, school zones, transit and rail, and also bicycle facilities. The other 5 are where there is some clarification that's been added, and so I'll step through those like I said. So part 1 is just a general part of the METCD, and all that's been done here is to add a definition for high speed. Much of the direction in the METCD is broken down in high speed and low speed situations. It's never really defined. FHWA has told us that we need to define that, and so we've defined that consistent with what we've been doing for a long time now, but at least there's a formal definition now. Part 2 is the signs, and the major addition that we've made in the supplement is that we've denoted and discouraged the use of any signs that are inconsistent with the New Mexico statutes. And then the second major category that we expanded on was advisory speeds on exit ramps and how those are determined. There was an option there to not place them in certain areas, and so the decision was to require that they be placed. So moving on to section 3, this one had this section. This is markings, and so we spent a lot of time looking through like different scenarios for how to mark a turn lane, application of turn arrows, and only the word only. Through the years, we get complaints that we're putting too many markings, not enough markings, and so an attempt was made to standardize our application of left turn lanes, right turn lanes, two-way left turn lane markings. Another thing that we did in the supplement is we required the use of 6-inch edge lines on interstates, national highway routes. This is something that we do anyway. We've been doing particularly on 6-inch edge lines. On the interstates, we've been doing this for a very long time, but we're just standardizing it now. And then just in a broader category, we standardized the design for stop lines and yield lines, crosswalks, chevrons, things like that. There's a whole variety of ways that you can design those items, and so an attempt was made to standardize those. Roundabout markings, there's a same thing there. We standardized the design for New Mexico, and also standardized markings at the islands, pavement islands. We like to make sure that those have a retroreflective paint applied on the islands, and that was an option in the METCD, but we've standardized that now. Moving on to part 4, highway traffic signals. There's only one change here, or one clarification here. NMDOT has for years now required the use of 12-inch traffic signal faces on all of our signals. Now we're going to put that into our official guidance so that we don't have any confusion about what size of traffic signal faces. And then last one is Part 6, temporary traffic control. This is probably the most extensive chapter that we dealt with. There's a lot of, I guess, leeway for like determining taper lengths and for like situations like closing lanes or shoulder tapers, things like that. So we've standardized those lengths. We've also required that a late merge be used whenever a lane closure is being performed, and a late merge is the same thing as a zipper merge. That's the more common term, but it's been changed to a late merge within the new edition of the MUTCD. It's a much more efficient way of closing a lane, maximizes the capacity you have, should reduce delays and queuing during lane closure situations. Also, we're gonna start to require the use of transverse rumble strips on lane drops and flagman operations. This really helps to reduce speeds in these situations. This is something that's kind of gaining traction nationwide. More and more states are doing that, and so it's a safety feature that we would like to implement. And then the last thing is there's a whole list of typical applications within Chapter 6 of temporary traffic control layouts. And so within those, and they're pretty widely used, especially by our maintenance section. Within those typical applications, there's always options. So there's always a lot of confusion about which one should I use. And so we've attempted to standardize those. Hopefully that'll help all the maintenance staffs be able to have just one type of sign on hand instead of a bunch of different signs to handle all the different options. And so that's it in a nutshell. I can answer any questions anyone might have.
Well, thank you for your presentation, and thank you for all the work you guys put into it, you and others in your section, and Dave, thank you. And you've all had a chance to review it. And is there any questions at this time? If not, then do I have a motion for approval to the updates to the manual and uniform traffic control devices, MUTCD?
Move for approval.
I have a motion for approval from Commissioner McElroy.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Tonjes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Now we'll move on to Rhonda. I know Rhonda likes to come up here.
Speaking's my favorite thing to do. Right. Well, they say like the number one thing people fear public speaking more than death, I think. That's about it. All right. Good morning still, I think. Yeah. Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. I am here to request approval to abandon a section of right-of-way on Old Las Vegas Highway to Santa Fe County. So on June 25th, 1994, the county acquired 2.1 acres from the DOT for the construction and operation of the Arroyo Hondo Fire Station that's located at 645 Old Las Vegas Highway. The county has actually been utilizing some of the adjacent property to that parcel to stockpile road maintenance and inclement weather materials. I think was there the attachments included in your packet also, okay, besides the brief. So aerial image indicates that these stockpiles have been present since at least May of 2006. The abandonment to the county would formally authorize continued material stockpiling and to allow for the construction and operation of a bulk water station on the eastern portion of the parcel near the fire station. The attached exhibit identifies the proposed location. I think it's in red, or it should be in the exhibit. The recent completion of a regional water line has enabled the county to move forward with the bulk water station project, which will provide potable water to area residents that are experiencing diminished well production, since this is pretty close to El Dorado, and I know a lot of people are having issues with their wells. I will note, so of the attachments, there's the right-of-way map. There is also the property description that were prepared and stamped by a surveyor here pretty recently. And then there's also the declaration of vacation and abandonment that would be signed if approved by the commission by the secretary abandoning that property. I will note that in the right-of-way map, one of the things that the DOT did take account is there are some drainage features on kind of the what would that be, southwest part of the property that we'd be abandoning, that we accounted to, it's kind of like that little square notched out area. And then there's also an easement that we accounted for to still provide us the opportunity to keep up with the drainage structures in that area. So I guess with that, I'll stand for any questions or request approval.
Is there any questions, any comments? You think this is in the best interest for us?
I think so. I mean, they've been kind of utilizing the property anyway.
Anytime that we can abandon property and somebody else picks it up, that's good for us, you know, as long as it's not gonna affect the people we serve, because they're not going to maintain it and do what they need to do to it. But it's always good to, that's a little less maintenance for us, little less money that we invest in everything else. So with that, do I have a motion to go ahead and approve the property abandonment to Santa Fe as presented in this?
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Chenoweth. Second by Commissioner Tonjes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're on the last one, is a resolution on legislation authorizing the State Transportation Commission to issue bonds for road maintenance and construction pursuant to Section 67-59.3, Section 67-59.2, which pertains to the Highway Infrastructure Fund.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. First, with apologies, I want to point out that the citation on the agenda is incorrect. So the correct site is actually NMSA 67-3-59.1, and that is correctly reflected in the resolution. Okay. So with that, I am presenting resolution number 2025-5 on behalf of Secretary Cerna and requesting the Commission's approval to authorize the Secretary of Transportation to present legislation to the New Mexico Legislature in the 2026 legislative session to authorize the issuance of bonds for state highway projects pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 67-3-59.1.
So that was 67-59.3.
67-3-59.1.
Dash
59.1.
Okay, dash 59.1. Okay, I had talked to him a little bit about this, and he was gonna come and give us a broader thing, this was just giving him the authorization to ask for the bonds at the legislature, correct?
Chair, that's exactly right.
And then the other thing I had discussed with him, which he probably discussed with you, is that if we approve this, then it gets approved at the legislature, that any project that falls under this would still have to be approved by the commission.
Chair, that is correct.
Correct. Okay. So, what is the pleasure of the commission?
Mr. Chair, if, I'm in support of this and move for its approval, but with a note to please change Commissioner Chenoweth's first name to Hilma, H-I-L-M-A. Okay.
So you're making a motion for approval?
Yes, sir.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that, again, changing my name to the correct spelling.
Second, we have a second for the approval of resolution authorizing the State Transportation Commission to issue bonds for road maintenance and construction pursuant to section
67-3-59.1.
and 67-59.2, right? Or no, not that one?
It's just
Okay,
point one.
just what you said.
Yes.
This what, so, do I have a motion by, by Commissioner Tonjes, a second by Commissioner Chenoweth. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That carries unanimously. So with that, it's done.
Thank you.
So with that, I want to wish each and every one of you a very safe and merry holiday, Christmas, a happy new year. Thank you for all you've done. Look forward to working with you in 2026. And we'll see you all back in January. Thank you for your attendance here today, your participation. And we'll see you in 2026. Maybe I'll see you at Walmart, maybe. So, getting presents. So with that, do I have a motion for adjournment of this meeting at approximately 11:59?
So moved.
I have a motion by Commissioner Chenoweth, seconded by Commissioner Tonjes. Before I adjourn the meeting, I just want to, again, on behalf of this commission, thank you, Commissioner. You'll be missed. And this being your last meeting, hopefully we see you in the meeting when we go up to Lordsburg, so you can make the trip with us. And with that, this meeting is now adjourned. Now we're official.
There you go. Thank you.